Hello YouTube, hello Twitter, and hello Facebook. Welcome to the AJ Bell Stadium. It's Friday night. It's the end of a long, hard working week. It's the weekend upon us and some Six Nations rugby. But more importantly, we see Leicester Tigers come up the M6 to take on Sale Sharks here at the AJ Bell Stadium. Let's hope they leave as pussycats. This is Sale Sharks Live. Hello everybody, welcome back to the AJ Bell Stadium on a Friday night. As always, we love this place on a Friday night under the lights. We're going to see Leicester Tigers struggle to beat this team. Sale Sharks playing for 5 bonus points, let's hope, fingers crossed everybody. Welcome to everybody on YouTube, Twitter and Facebook. As always, I am joined by the very capable Chris and Joe. Joseph, how you doing, mate?
I'm very well, thank you very much, Colin. So today I'm joined in the studio by Withershire Rugby Club. We're going to be chatting about the club itself, a bit of history about it, about what's going on this season, and a bit of chat maybe about you and your superstitions before a big game like today. Let's say you wear the same boxers and you've never cleaned them. Let's say you have a certain drink the same way and you've never changed it. Anything that you do in sort of preparation to the big game like today, get in the comment section, tweet us, and make sure you get involved in tonight's chat, all in the build-up to a mint game.
So listen, your pre-match routine then, Joe. What's your warm-up?
I love to do a couple of cartwheels. Unfortunately, that's off camera. You didn't see that. Maybe next time I'll film that. And I like to just remind myself of how good Sale Sharks are and how great the wind is. Because we love the wind.
I don't think you've ever warmed up for anything in your life, have you?
Never, ever.
Chris, how you doing, mate? Good to see you.
Thanks, Colin. Thank you.
Now listen, you're going to be minus Ollie today.
I am.
It'll be much better for you, I'm sure. Come on, give us a background. What are you looking forward to today? What's going to happen?
Well, a bit of a hard one to call. I mean, Leicester have had a lot of changes to their side today, but they are a team who's improving in the last few weeks. They've only lost one of the last 4 in the Premiership, but they do sit second bottom. But the table, Colin, has become so congested over the last couple of weeks. Only 10 points separating Sale in third, who've actually lost as many games as they've won in the Premiership, 5 and 5, and Leicester, who sit second bottom. So the table has got very, very tight, but Leicester clearly are a team that Sale will fancy their chances of beating at home. They've lost the likes of Genge and Ford, May, Tuolangi, all to the England setup clearly this week. They've also got some injuries to other key players like Tom Youngs and Ben White. So Leicester fielding a side that's relatively inexperienced. They've got a scrum half in Jack Van Voortvliet, who's actually making his Premiership debut tonight. So I'm sure Steve Diamond and the Sale setup will look at this Leicester side and look at his own team and think, under the Friday night lights here at the AJ Bell, this is the sort of game that we've really got to be winning if we're going to make that coveted top 4.
So because we're going to be coming off the back of that result last week down at Saracens. It wasn't brilliant for us. It was horrible weather.
Yeah.
We're due for a bit of a rainstorm today as well. Leicester Tigers did quite well last weekend as well, didn't they? So they've probably have their backs up, their tails are up. How do we take advantage of that, do you think? What's going to be the thing for us to hone in on? Yeah,
well, I mean, clearly, as you mentioned, Leicester had a good win at Wasps, right in the eye of Storm Dennis, and Sale lost at Saracens. Actually, the first time in the 10 games this season that the Sharks haven't taken a single point, even a losing bonus point. So that was a bit of a blow, and I think having beaten Saracens the week before here in the Premiership Rugby Cup, Steve Diamond and co would have thought this is a game we can go and be very competitive in at Alliance Park. In the end, it wasn't a great performance, admittedly, in difficult weather. But when you come up against a side like Leicester, who've picked up a bit after a really rocky start, they're potentially dangerous, and they can come here tonight and have a real go. They are without a lot of their top players, as I mentioned, but it gives a chance for youth to have its moment, and it's not going to be an easy game for Sale to try and accomplish. So they're going to have to play the simple things right. Mark Wilson on debut tonight for Sale. That's a big moment for him to come into the side and hopefully further strengthen the back row.
Now we're going to get to speak to Ben Curry a little bit later on as well, and we asked about number 9 in the week and that Eddie Jones thing, and I'm guessing he doesn't want to talk about that, but it'll be interesting to see how important the 9 does play in this team. And we've talked about Faf not being around today, Wilcliffe stepping up as always, and we went to speak to Will during the week down at Carrington. We asked, because Will's been with us for a long time. Yeah. Wilcliffe has been at the centre of that number 9 position, stepping in and out all the time. Dwayne Peel, all those players that have come through that number 9 position for us. Cliffy has always been there. We got to speak to him this week at Carrington.
Started at Sandbach, club school, just playing rugby because my old man took me down there. Finished at the school, went to Myerscough, which had links with Sale Academy then. It was sort of the Phil Leck time with the academy and James Wade. Went to Macclesfield just to try and play high level in National 3, back then the old National 3. And then from there really got asked to play for the Jets. A few good games for the Jets, and then offered a academy contract, go to uni, come in and train with us. My dad's always played, and I guess my family had my uncles and stuff. It is a big thing in the Cliff family, much more so than football. We've always had a good night since I started. We had Wiggy when I started, Peely as well, of course, who was here for years and you know, was a great player. So I just sort of had to play around them a bit really. They're international experienced guys. Obviously Peely left, Cussiter came in, Chris Cussiter, and you know, he was brilliant as well. So it's great to learn off these guys. It can get frustrating when you're having to play backup a lot of the time, but if you get the balance right and get a good bit of game time as well, it's not too bad. But great guys to learn from. I obviously left then, went down to Bristol, and that was probably one of the main reasons, was because I wanted to go, actually, I want to play every week. So I went down there as a first choice and, you know, had 2 years regularly playing. I'm enjoying being back here and I'm learning all the time. I still think I can do a good job when I get a chance to play, so. It's funny because since I've been here, there's been fans obviously long since I've been here, but you know, you get to know them, and actually a lot of them, you know, we're friends with them. Do you know what I mean? We say hello to them, have a good chat, and then, but not only that, there's all those sort of ones that have been around in the supporters club for ages, but then there's new ones joining all the time. Do you know what I mean? So the last few games, you know, the AJ Bell's been forward than I've seen it, and it makes a difference. You know, you want to play in front of it. You want to see that. Everyone wants to win stuff, do you know what I mean? And to win stuff with Sale and it'd be a dream come true, wouldn't it? Everyone in this whole building, I think, has got aspirations to win something with this club. So even the Prem Cup, you know, any opportunity now to crack on and get some silverware, you know, not only myself but all the lads want to achieve something for sure. The pressure is from within, really. You put pressure on yourselves to deliver, and I know it's easy to say that, but that's actually the truth of it. Do you know what I mean? It's down to us to go out and play well. We know what we've got to do in the week to prepare for that, to make sure we're on it come the weekend. And to be honest, we're riding high on confidence, and we're enjoying playing, and we're enjoying picking up some good wins.
So remember to keep your superstitions coming in the comments below, or wherever the comments are on that. Also, the extended video of that Cliffy interview, where he talks to us about his time here with us at Sale Sharks, will be on the social channels later in the week. So make sure you keep your eye open for that. So keep telling us, keep engaging, keep comments below. We want to hear more. Chris, just whilst we're waiting for Ben to turn up, so let's have a look at the team. Let's look at the matchups. Let's start with the front row, particularly because I want to sort of talk about the weather, which. Looks all right at the minute, but I'm sure it's going to change, ever changing, that wind that whips in from the toilet. So let's have a look. Front rows, give us your opinions.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dan Cole on the tight head for Leicester tonight, Cooney Oosthuizen on the loose head for Sale, and Cooney clearly played tight head earlier in the season. He's now become more of a regular at number one, and Ross Harrison has found himself in and out of the side really, and coming off the bench quite a bit. So I think that's a bit of a key matchup really in the front row. Also at hooker tonight, you've got Rob Webber in for Sale hooking. Curtis Langdon's on the bench. No Akker van der Merwe tonight. He failed a fitness test after rolling his ankle down at Saracens last weekend. So no Akker to throw off the bench. That'll be an opportunity for Curtis Langdon potentially in the final quarter.
So let's just look at that front five quickly and look at we'll come on to the second rows in a minute. But you know, with the weather changes, how important is it going to be for us to play that kind of tight game versus this whipping it out to the backs and stuff like this? How do we make that decision? By looking at the players that we got and the players that we're up against, where do we take advantages in the front five?
Well, as you mentioned, Colin, the weather is wet this evening, and the pitch is clearly very, very tacky. If it starts to rain, you'd have thought that the battle in the forwards will become ever more important. Leicester have also named a 6-2 bench tonight, which makes you think that Jordan Murphy, their coach, is very much of a mind to try and keep it tight and focus on the forwards. And in poor weather, that's what you generally see more and more of. So it's an important area to win, and clearly we saw in the World Cup final that matches can be won or lost in the scrummage. So it's an important area that Sale get ascendancy in early in the game.
So that back row is going to be really important, the mobility of that back row. Talking of which, we'll bring him on in because he's here now. Back row, Ben, great to see you. Thanks for coming in and having a chat with us today. Why aren't you on that side of the whitewash today? What's going on?
I pulled my groin in the gym, and sad to say there wasn't actually that much weight on the bar, so I can't really go on about it.
So it'll embarrass you. I'd probably pull muscles on that sort of thing as well. You must be frustrated not being playing. I mean, as a player, you want to be out there all the time, but how are you dealing with that?
Yeah, massively disappointed, especially after the loss last weekend. You kind of, your first instinct is to get back on the pitch and kind of do those wrongs right. So, yeah, massively disappointed for me, but it's quite nice. I think this is my first game in like 2-3 years watching a game here, so from that perspective, it's quite nice.
So you do the 100,
yeah,
and then you stop for a bit.
Yeah,
what's that?
100. I just raise the bat to the crowd, and that's me. Nah, yeah, I've had that comment quite a few times this week, so no, it's not the first.
It must be great though. 100 games. Come on, let's talk about that. It must feel pretty good. We talked about it a little bit in the week, didn't we? I mean, how do you feel about that and hitting that 100? Important for you?
Yeah, massively important. I think, to be honest, I didn't really realise what a feat it was until as Mark Wilson came up to me after the change room and was like, yeah, he said he got his at 26. And then he was just kind of reflects on that and what an achievement it is, and kind of it didn't really hit me until he said that, and I'm massively honoured to do that, and especially for one of the club you've grown up supporting and now playing for.
You're still a young un, do you know what I mean? Still young.
So Mark steps into your shirt tonight, Ben. How much of a difference will it be for him playing open side flanker from someone who's spent most of his career at 8, or if he's not played 8, he's generally played 6?
To be honest, well, he's still the likes of Tom. It doesn't really change your game that much. When a coach is selecting a back row, it's about getting a balance though of that carrying, jackling, tackling. So for him, I can't imagine it's going to change much of his game. He's still going to be really solid in defence, go for those jackals. So in terms of that, I can't really see it changing much.
Leicester without a number of their England players tonight, but also other injuries to experienced players like Ben White and a number of their other regular starters. Does that make it a bit of an unknown quantity for you to come up against a team with so many players who feature relatively infrequently in the Premiership?
Well, yeah, to be honest, I think we saw it last week with Saracens. Everyone was expecting us to win when we went down there, and they showed us exactly. It's not about the names on the team sheet, it's about how much work you put in if you get your stuff right. So in terms of that stuff, you can't really be looking at it too much. It's just about doing your stuff right, and especially after last week, I don't think they'll be looking at their team sheet too much.
Midpoint in the season tonight, round 11 of 22. I think one of the things that struck us, Ben, is how tight the table is. Sale in third, only 10 points above Leicester second bottom. Do you think it's still the case that this league is so tight that anyone really could still fancy their chances of the top 4?
Definitely, especially around that top 6, 7 positions. We saw it last year as well. So, no, especially when you have the salary cap involved, all the teams are kind of at that balanced level. You're never really going to get that much of a wide spread.
Does that put more pressure on you as a group? Because without Saracens being in the mix now, is there more of a feeling, do you think, in the rugby public and the media that says, well, people are now expecting Sale to make the top 4? I think more of the expectancy is coming from within. Yeah, like I said, if you lose one game, you have to win the next game. It's not okay. You won't end up in the top 4 if you lose 2 on the bounce. So there's a lot of pressure on tonight to get the result. Thanks, Ben.
So we also just that quick hard sell before you go as well, because we talked in the week about how important it is for this crowd around us and the kind of lift that it gives you close to the end. We talked about your focus as a player is important, but again, you know, what's it like when you hear the crowd cheering you on and stuff when you're getting close to that line as well? Yeah,
it's massively encourages you so much, and especially when you are getting near the try line, you do make that line break. You hear it so much, and yeah, it's the experiences you want to have as a rugby player, and they're what can drive you on to continue playing.
We also talk about. I mean, you've been here since a young un. You're still a young un. Yeah, let's hope you get to a young un. Let's hope you'll be here for 1,000 games. But why is it important? Why should fans be coming down to see you play week in, week out? Why is it important to get more and more fans down to this club?
It's definitely a family-orientated club. Like I said, there's so many players within the squad now who the same experience as me. You watched on these Friday nights, and yeah, I loved it, and I continued watching, continued playing, and now I've played 100 games, so in terms of that, it's a great experience.
Listen, don't get used to keeping it easy on a match day now, okay, right? Don't put your feet up too much, all right? We need you back on there, right? Ben, thank you very much. We appreciate it as always. Thank you very much. Now, Ollie's not here, obviously, because he's been given a better offer for some reason. But listen, he's not gone and forgotten. We had him go out on a game a couple of weeks ago to see what it's like on a home game, match day experience, starting with something to eat over at the Trafford Centre, so you can get a bite to eat at the Trafford Centre and come over by the free shuttle buses. We sent Ollie, said, Ollie, go and get yourself something to eat and tell us what it's like at a home game.
Good afternoon and welcome to game day. It's Settle Sharks against Exeter in the Heineken Champions Cup, and I'm here to take you through an entire experience of what you can see down at the AJ Bell Stadium. But first, I've started here at the Trafford Centre. I've had some food, I've had a look round, done my Christmas shopping. I even went to Nando's for a quick bite to eat. But now we're going to head down to the stadium, get on the bus with all the supporters and go and watch some good rugby, of course. So I've just got off the bus here at the AJ Bell. A great service. You come down for it for free from the Trafford Centre. It's brilliantly put on for the club. Every single game, park at the Trafford Centre, come down here and watch the game. Got me free scarf as well. It's about an hour until kick-off. We're going to go and have a look around. We're going to Sharkey, we're going to go in the shop, and then we're going to go and take our seat in the stadium. So stay tuned.
Sale Sharks, the community is fantastic. We've got a season ticket, me and another coach from where we're from. Our kids are in the stadium already without us, looking at the players warm up. It's super, they love it, they enjoy it, they get to say thank you to the players at the end of the day. It's a welcome atmosphere, it's brilliant. Second year as a season ticket and we're going to keep coming.
You get to see like your favourite players who you might see, like people who just played in the World Cup. And it's just really good to come and watch, and the community's really good over here.
So let's go inside and have a look. See, mate. Too many people in there. So we're in the club shop now. I've got this lovely bit of gear here. It doesn't quite fit me, but as you can see, it's going to keep you warm in the winter, and even in the summer if it gets a bit cold. You've got to get in the shop and get yourself one of these. So I would have fit into this about a year ago, but I put on a bit of weight since then, so we'll have to avoid that one.
It's a great atmosphere. You can get a great pie, cup of Bovril, good value. Yeah, we love it, and the kids love it, and it's a family atmosphere. So it's a family day out.
So we're in the ground now. 40 minutes to go. It's going to be a sellout today. So I got here early. I don't want anyone taking me seat. It's happened before. So I got in nice and early. I believe I'm sat over here somewhere, and I'm ready for the game. Ready for kick-off. I'm hoping for a Sharks win.
It's lovely how you can wander around and tour different parts of the ground beforehand and see what's going on. I think it's really friendly and it's a comfortable place to watch great rugby.
It's great to see the players after the match. They quite regularly come round, do autographs with the kids and take photos, even if they've not had a great result. So I think community-wise, it's one of the best clubs going for that.
So thank you, Ollie, there. Ollie gone, but not forgotten. He'll be back again at the next game, which is
2 weeks' time against London Irish.
2 weeks' time against the London Irish, and then after that, Prem Cup time.
That's the one.
If you've got any questions about your matchday experience, get them in the comments. Tell us about why you love coming to Sale Sharks so much. Just before, Ben, there we were talking about that front matchups, and obviously as an important number 9, let's look at that connection to the backs then. Let's have a look at Cliffy there, Goss War, and Leicester Tigers. Let's have a look.
Yeah, so Leicester tonight, no Ben Youngs, of course. He'll be in England duty, back in the starting shirt for England against Ireland on Sunday. And Ben White, who is Ben Youngs' normal deputy, is injured. So Jack Van Portvliet starts tonight. It's his first Premiership start. He's England under-18 scrum half, originally from the North Walsham club in Norfolk. A massive step up for him tonight, coming up against Will Cliff, who we heard from just a few minutes ago. He's got masses of experience, totally at the other end of the experience spectrum, warming up just behind us here. So interesting matchup. I've always been interested, Colin, in these sort of moments. I remember reading Stephen Gerrard's autobiography a few years ago, who said when he played internationally, England against Germany, Dietmar Hamann, who he played with at Liverpool at the time, turned to him in the middle of the match and said, "Stephen, you're doing great," and he couldn't believe it. Now tonight, will Will Cliff have a little word with Jack Van Portvliet and say, "Good luck, pal," or will he be hard as nails? I'd love to know.
Well, this is it. I think Cliffy has the opportunity to boss games a little bit, you know what I mean? He's got this wise old head on. People think he's a young lad, he's inexperienced, because you don't see him on the T-sheet starting every single week. I think Cliffy's always been there. He's always in there, knowing, picking up ideas of all these different scrum halves that he's been. He's an amalgamation of all these different scrum halves.
Absolutely. And he's had 2 spells here, and he's been away at Bristol in between. He's built his experience. And at 31, I don't think his international hopes are behind him. I mean, Willie Hines is 33 at the moment. England don't have a massive range of scrum halves to pick from. This is his 7th consecutive start. He's becoming one of the most consistent players in the Premiership. He was shortlisted for Premiership Player of the Month last month, so he's in great form.
Feeding to the 10. Let's have a look how that's going to pan out. Where are we strong? Where are they weak? Where do you think the threat's going to be? And let's take a look at that line into the back line. 12 and 13 for us today. Let's have a look at that.
Yeah, no Rohan Jantavan Rensburg at inside centre, so Luke James comes in. Now, Luke James probably more naturally a fullback. We saw that great try from fullback against Harlequins in that demolition of the Quins here a few weeks ago. But he's played number 12 often. He's got his brother Sam alongside him, who's been Mr. Consistency, as he always is this season. So no Jantavan Rensburg. He should be fit again for the London Irish game, but he did a hamstring at Saracens. He's been a key player, and to lose his ball-carrying power is a big loss in the middle of the park. But Sale have got a good cover there in Luke James.
Well, I mean, is that going to be important if the rains don't come? It's a bit blowy, but it's not gale force. Do you know what I mean? So that back line running might happen. It might be a possibility if the rain holds off. Do you think?
Yeah, and I think Sale will be keen to move the ball along the backs and try and get some benefit there. I mean, the visiting wingers for Leicester. If you look at Oliver Whaler on the left wing, an inexperienced young winger for Leicester, and Chris Ashton up against him. So you've got a player who's the third leading try scorer in Premiership history against a young winger who's just finding his way in the game. So I'm sure Sale are going to want to move the ball wide quickly and take good advantage. What Luke James brings is an extra distributor at 12, whereas clearly Van Rensburg, much more of a hard-hitting, lots more heft, power to drive through the inside channel.
I think it's taking those opportunities as if you've got a team that's able to adapt what happens in front of you as opposed to rigidly sticking to this hit or whatever it is that they've been told to do in regards to the strike zones and stuff like this. If you can then adapt and having that wise old head with Ashton, those older players that have thought about our team that's gelling together quite well now, being able to play that adaptive rugby, and I think that's what we like to see a lot of.
Yeah, and the top teams can do that. They can play in all conditions, Colin. They can cope as well on an absolute billiard table in perfect weather as they can cope in a quagmire in the middle of Storm Dennis. And they can change in a game as well. It's about problem solving as you go through a game. Josh Beaumont, who's with me on commentary tonight, is the feature in tonight's programme, and he said that his early time playing in senior rugby for Fylde in the national leagues taught him how to problem solve during a match. And I think that's a key part of the maturity of a rugby team. Can they get themselves out of trouble in a game? Can they reset and play differently if things are going badly?
And I think that's the point. They're going to want to do that after what happened last weekend down at Saracens, because you'd have thought actually Sale should be adapting a bit quicker and a bit more here. Looks like Saracens did adapt to the conditions, so it's probably us wanting to be able to see that adaptiveness straight away off the back is what we want to see, really.
Yeah, I think so, and I think a good start is important tonight. You know, if Sale can get themselves up on the scoreboard quickly, get the crowd behind them, you know, they can really put some pressure on. But as Ben was saying to us a few minutes ago, if you're a serious contender for a top four place, losing 2 consecutive matches to the teams that are actually a bottom and second bottom, which it would be if they were to lose to Leicester tonight, although Saracens in a slightly false position, of course, you know, is not where you want to be. So this is an important game to get back on it. Saracens clearly last week was not where anybody wanted to be, both in terms of the outcome or the performance, mitigated of course to some degree by the weather. So important to get a good start tonight, and you'd think that in the backs is where Sale can get some dividends.
Just to jump back into the front, back into the pack again, 2 people that we haven't got playing with us, Lude and Josh Beaumont, those lots that, you know, we'll get to speak to Josh later, which is really great, but we went out a little trip with Josh and Lude a couple of weeks ago. We have sponsor Printerland. If you take a look at the stand over there, fantastic stand. Printerland support our community quite strongly. They're very involved in making sure that our community coaches and our players get out into the community. They supplement tickets as well for people as well. And we went down to Manchester City's ground, their academy ground and all that area, to see some community work in action. It was brilliant. And we got to speak to Printerland as well at the same time. So let's take a quick look at that trip that we did down to City.
Here today working alongside Printerland, so we're working specifically with the Down syndrome and the VI teams that they have here at Man City, just giving them like a rugby taster session and just trying to get them involved, giving them new opportunities and maybe something that they haven't quite tried before.
We came down here, just had some fun with the kids. It's a great initiative from Sale and from Man City, so we really enjoyed it. Had some few fun games to play with them, and it's really been enjoyable.
I think for me personally, I'm from the northwest. I'm from this area, and I've been here 7 years at Sale Sharks. I've always tried to give back to the community, and especially for the kids down here today, to see us players come down and hopefully provide a bit of inspiration for them, and just see them really enjoying themselves. It makes it special for us players to kind of experience that. I think it's crucial for our partners, our sponsors, that they can provide that relationship with the Sharks as well as kind of the community side and giving back to local community as they do. So to run that, to just be more than the typical sponsor is fantastic.
Once you get a sponsor to come down and see the impact and speak to the families, because it doesn't only make an impact on the participant, it makes an impact on the families, the friends, everybody around them. It causes a trickle effect as a whole to everybody within the environment of a person with a disability. It's not about ticking a box anything what you should be doing, it's about making an impact and enhancing people's lives.
The thing about it is you can just sponsor and just have your brand name emblazoned everywhere, but we like to put a little bit back into the community in some way or another. It's not just a business where you've got to sell boxes and ink. For us to widen that into the community as well, they take great pride in seeing their brand involved with that.
It's always great for us as rugby players, as professional sportsmen, to give back to the community. So hopefully we can do a lot more of this at Sale and here in Manchester and get the community behind us as well.
Princeland are a brilliant supporter of everything we do, allowing us to do things like this and as well as sponsoring the seats at the games. It isn't just the kind of name across the shirt that people see and then they don't always kind of link to, whereas this, Princeland can see exactly what effect that they're having, who they're kind of being able to work with, who are they helping.
I think as a sponsor you feel like it's your club, because when we say we've lost, we've won, I mean it. It feels that deep, the connection.
How you doing? Welcome to Sale Sharks Live. Thank you very much to Colin, who's pitch side, and we're going back to him later on, chatting to the fans ahead of this epic game. I am joined now by some very special guests on this cold day, but unfortunately we are staying away from the rain, so that can be only a blessing, even though the wind is still getting to us. Wivenshaw Rugby Club have joined us for a little chat about the club, about yourselves, about everything you're doing at the minute. So in a sort of like a talent show style way, if you could sort of introduce yourself, what you do in the club, and then we'll have a chat more.
Okay, I'm Charlie McNamara. I'm the chairman of the club. Been chairman for 3 years. The club's been going for 4 years. So it's a challenge beyond rugby, but we're proud of what we've achieved today.
Well, thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Nicola Ward and I'm the assistant coach for the minis at Withenshaw Rugby Club. So currently training aged 3 to 11 year olds.
Wow, amazing.
I'm Steve Johnson, I'm the club's current vice president. I joined the same time as Charlie, and we seem to be going in the right direction. We seem to have had a fantastic couple of years.
Charlie, let's talk about the start of the club. 4 years it's been going, so it's only a brand new club in the heart of Wivenshaw. How did it come about, and obviously your involvement?
Well, it was a conversation with the local schools, RFU and the Withenshaw Community Housing Group. We decided that some of the young people from Withenshaw would benefit from rugby, from the discipline and everything rugby brings. So it was a joint funded effort, and we started with five boys.
Right.
We've now got 130, 140 kids. We've got a men's team who won their first season in the Sale Sharks Algro Leagues.
Not bad then, not bad at all.
And we won Club of the Year at the Manchester Sports Awards a couple of years ago. So it's been an instant impact.
Yeah.
The best thing for me is that we've had letters from schools and parents telling us the difference in their children, which is beyond rugby. It's brilliant.
When you start a club like this, how was it getting those initial people to join? So did you have to go out into schools, out into clubs, let people know you were there?
Yeah, the local RFU reps went into the schools 6 months or so before we formed the club, just to kind of gain the interest. And as I say, five boys turned up on the first night.
Yeah.
So
and now a lot more rock up, which is unbelievable.
And those 5 boys are still with us.
Amazing.
They will be going into junior Colts next season.
Wow.
So it's great, and it's I thought I'd hung my boots up coaching. But it's reinvigorated my enthusiasm certainly. And the guys, you know,
an incredible team. Nicola, so what about yourself? How did you get into Wivenshaw? How did you first know about it?
So my son goes to one of the high schools in Withenshaw, so that was how I got involved. And then of course being there pitch side every week with my two sons, you soon get roped in to help out. And yeah, I've been there about 3 years now. You were there watching the start, and I was just watching.
How much has it impacted your sons? And they love it. They love it.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. They're so enthusiastic about it. It's like one big family in the community. And it just means it just gives them some discipline as well. You know, and it goes along with their schoolwork really well, just to give them some sport as well as the academic.
Have you done anything like this before, or was it just to really get involved?
No, I haven't. Amazing. No, I'm just at university myself, so they're really supportive towards that as well, and encouraging me towards a volunteering award at university.
Amazing. Same sort of story for you, Steve? He's got his own. Same sort of story.
To me, it was basically a bit of a family affair. Charlie is, dare I say the words, my technical father-in-law. I know his daughter will now be chasing me for a ring because I've said that. But so I come from a footballing background, and I didn't know anything about rugby at all. But I started to attend the Sharks with Charlie, and to me, Charlie went on as a coach originally at Withenshaw. So I went on to assist him so that I could develop my knowledge of the game, because I used to come and watch here, and for the first few weeks I didn't have a clue what was going on. So it developed my understanding of the game. As time progressed, I think we became known as people who would rather do things than stand back on the sidelines and watch. And because we got stuff done at the club and in such a short space of time, when the next AGM meeting come up, we were voted into senior roles, and the ball just rolled from there. And for the past couple of years, I was Charlie's number 2 last year as vice chair. I moved up to vice president at the last AGM, and we've just moved on from there.
I want to get a little more chat about the club, about what you're up to at the minute, your ambitions. We're just going to have a quick word from our partner. We're back with Wivenshaw Rugby Club after this. Welcome back to the AJ Bell Stadium, building up to an epic game today. Sale Sharks are in action in just moments' time. But before that, before the big game, full commentary, which will be happening on Facebook and YouTube. You will be able to get commentary of the game with the wonderful Chris. We're joined by Wivenshaw Rugby Club, having a chat about the club itself and ambitions. And we're joined by Charlie, Nicola and Steve. We're having a little natter, just maybe about how, if you've got a piqued interest in this, you might be able to get involved in Wivenshaw. Let's talk about the first season then, because I wanted to know, obviously it's been going for 4 years now, if you missed the first part, how difficult was it getting up with the ground? Obviously you had really good help, but in terms of the matches itself, it's such a different thing for putting an idea together. But when the 5 lads who first joined up actually had the first game, how was that?
Well, we started with friendly games, and then we went on to around the local Northwest rugby clubs. We spoke to those who wanted to buy in what we were doing rather than put 100 points on us every week. So once we'd identified the clubs that wanted to help, we took it from there. We started with an under 13s and a casual and vets adults team. Some had played rugby before, some hadn't, even the adults. So the adults went so well that we applied to enter the Halbro leagues and got in and won the league the first season. Wow. Which was brilliant. Not so good now. We've gone up a league now and it's proving a bit tougher. But we've now got teams. We've got minis teams, under 12s, under 14s, and under 16s who play regularly. So and they love it. The boys love it.
What do you put the growth down to? Is it just the people knowing that they can play rugby in the local area?
Well, Withenshaw's predominantly a football area.
Yeah.
There's lots of rugby clubs that surround it, but none actually in Withenshaw. So the biggest challenge for us was getting the word out there that there's a rugby club here. And really, that's probably taken up until recently, where we've suddenly the network of people that know about the club have suddenly grown over the last 3 or 4 months. So we're expecting the steady growth we've seen in the last 4 years. We're expecting that to really take off. We're moving to a new home, to call ourselves, so we can put our signs up and all the rest of it. So there's exciting times, and it's great to be part of it.
Yeah. Nicola, a new home. How exciting is that going to be for you in the coming months? A new home for Wivenshaw?
Really exciting. We're really looking forward to it. We can't wait. It's just going to be a new chapter for the club, really.
What kind of work do you do to put into making sure this happens? Because obviously it's needed for the club to make sure they take the next step.
Well, there's
a lot of graft.
Yeah, there is a lot of graft behind the scenes. We're all obviously working at the same time as volunteering, so we have to try and spread it across everybody as much as we can. But I don't mind saying it's the committee who do the majority of the hard work, so we're really thankful to them for getting us to this point.
Yeah. We're going to talk now about rugby itself and maybe the game and before the game. One of our talking points today on Sale Sharks Live is sort of things you might do before a match, if it's watching it, if it's playing, if it's getting involved. Is there any superstition, Stevie, you might do? Or do you wake up a certain way, get warmed up in a certain way? What would you do before your games?
I genuinely think that the majority of our seniors probably wake up hungover, to be fair. But I honestly couldn't tell you if they have any
superstitions.
Sort of superstitions individually. They're a great group of lads. They do tend to have their own sort of on the back of a result when they've got a result. They do have their own sort of celebration, which is they'll do something very similar to yourselves and they'll put it out on our social media on the Facebook Live, and it will be like a victory dance video in the changing rooms, which is something that we've not seen before in that local league. So it's something different that the lads are trying to do via the media option. The media for us, the social media side of things, currently at the minute has kind of exploded for us. We're getting a lot of recognition. We're getting people coming to us now for local sponsorship. So
amazing.
Obviously, if they're coming to us, our name is getting out there, which is the kind of stuff that we need, and it's bringing the right sort of people into the club.
What's your biggest challenge then that you face at the minute, or is there a challenge, any hurdles that you're getting over?
The biggest challenge for us really at the moment is because we're a local community club and we're only in the 4th year. We've obviously had to start from absolute nothing in an area that is football orientated, no rugby club at all where we were before we set up. Is first and foremost is volunteers. We're absolutely crying out from all across the board. We'd love more coaches, we'd love more players so that we can field more teams, get the lads further development, further experience on the pitch, because an awful lot of them when they come to us had no rugby experience at all. And a lot of it, to be fair, is financial. We do need some financial backing. That's where we struggle, because at the moment we don't have our own home and our own clubhouse and anything in place to set up our own revenue. Then the way we have to do it is via going to the local supermarkets and putting the younger teams out, and they will pack bags for people, turning over a bit of cash in the donation buckets, and it does work for us and it is keeping us afloat. But we're kind of outgrowing that as a club now. So the fact that we are almost 100% into a new home, which will save us an absolute fortune financially, because the pitch costs do hurt us every month. That I would think for us, it's financially that is the biggest hurdle for us at the minute.
Amazing. Just to you, Charlie, we talk about people who might want to get involved in the local communities, the rugby community, football community, sorry. What do you do when someone might approach you, want to play, but have never seen or never been to a rugby game, they don't really know much about it? Do you have a way of coaching them into adapting maybe their football mind to a rugby mind to get them involved? A game like this, maybe? Show them a game like this?
Yeah, we bring them to games. The South Sharks community team are brilliant with us. So in terms of getting groups of we're in the 100 club, so we get tickets through that. We get lots of help with tickets for the young teams to come, and it's a new concept for them. They can go outside and talk to World Cup winners.
Yeah, amazing.
It's absolutely amazing that they can kind of touch and feel that success.
Yeah, unbelievable, the success.
So, it's brilliant. So the community team have helped us start walking rugby, which we've kind of tailored it back to the area. So the future's bright. As Steve said, commercially it's a challenge at the minute, but challenges are there to be overcome, aren't they? And we will do that.
We're just going to have a quick chat about ambition, and we'll wrap up with you. Thank you very much for giving me your time. What is the ambition then for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever you want to chat about? What are Withershaw going to be?
The ambition is to put something in the community that lasts, lasts forever. We're starting. Nicola coaches the little ones, and they are the future of the club. They're the future presidents, the future chairman. They're the girls team as well. They're the future. So it's a long term. Getting over the first few years will be tough, but the long term is to leave something behind that everybody can enjoy, like any other rugby club. They all started somewhere, didn't they?
Nicola, if people want to see this, want to get involved, want to get in touch with you, want to have a chat, how can they do it?
Page Withershaw Rugby Union Football Club, and get in contact with us there. We put out lots of information on Twitter as well and Instagram. We're trying to be out there on all the social media so that it's easy for people to get into contact with us if they need to.
Amazing.
So all the information is on there, for our training time.
Do that. For yourself, interested about your own personal maybe ambitions. You've only just joined the sort of venture that is rugby over the last couple of years. And where do you see this club and your role in a couple of years' time?
The way that we've moved forward so quick within the short space of time, I do, in fairness, I do see quite big things coming for us. It's an exciting time for us now. As I say, we're making sponsorship deals. We're looking at securing a home. We've got players coming to us. For me, on training sessions, when you see the youngsters, my little boy who's watching over there now has been there for 2 years. He's been there since he was 3. To hear him running about and screaming and shouting and just loving life is what it's all about for me. We've got lads that were there when we joined and took under our wing who are now transitioning into the senior side. Everything about it at the moment is exciting. There appear to be a negative at the minute, which
Yeah.
I'm sure will come at some point 'cause it's difficult. But while the wheels are turning and we've got momentum, we just need to keep pushing in the right direction.
Amazing. Right, I want to thank you very much for coming here and joining us. Have a wonderful game. I'm sure you're expected to see some good rugby back, good rugby knowledge. Thank you very much for joining us. Listen, that's been wonderful to have a chat with Wiltshire Rugby Club. If you could do anything, I'm sure there'll be a link in the description from Sale Sharks about getting in touch. Search Wiltshire Rugby Club as well. Get involved in the Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. You know what's happening at the minute. Find the website and get involved because they need more and more people like you. I think we're going to have a quick message from our partners. Yes, we should be doing it. And then Colin will be back with a little chat in the build-up to this epic game at AJ Bell Stadium.
So then, thank you very much, Joe. That was great, as always. Thank you, sir. Just watching the lads warming up here as well. They're looking quite sharp, actually. The wind just started swirling around a little bit as well. Good support as well. That's great. Let's do our usual walk around. If you've got any questions for anybody, comments below as always. Let's go and have a chat to a few people and get their take on things. Lee, you can come with me as well. Hello, how you doing? You okay? How's it going? You all right? What's your name?
Harry.
Hello, Harry. What's your name?
Joshua.
Joshua. What's your name?
John.
John. Joshua. John. Harry. Hello.
Andre.
Hello. Well, bonjour, everybody. Welcome. Do you come often?
Oh yes, every week. Well,
Every week.
Every game, yeah.
Every game. Good. Do you enjoy it?
Yeah.
What are we looking forward to today? Big win, do you think? Or are we gonna? Yeah.
Big win.
Who's gonna score the most?
I don't know. Hopefully everyone will get one.
Everyone scores a try, all of it. Why do you come to the games all the time? What is it about Sale Sharks that makes you come back?
Well, good question.
Loyalty's a tough thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Loyalty is tough, I swear to God, it's good. But you do love the team.
We've come for how many years? 8 years?
We used to go to Edgeley Park and then we moved here. So yes, that's it really.
Final when they won the Premiership.
2000. It's always good to live in hope. That's nothing wrong with living in hope. And do you know, this year we're still third after last week. We're still third. That's got to be a good feeling after that, yeah?
Yeah. A big game tonight, though.
I was going to say, even though how big is tonight, how important?
Got to win your home games all the time.
Got to win your home games, absolutely. Listen, thank you for stopping and seeing us. Let's see you at the end cheering on as well when the lads come and have a chat. Great to see you. Thank you very much. Absolutely, thank you. Let's have a chat. Let's come through. Lee, watch yourself on here, mate. Let's get stuck in here. Quick as you can, Lee. Just watch your feet on there. Lee's going to come with me. Come on, Lee, let's go. Step over as you go. Good lad. Let's go and have a chat to these lovely people. How we... Not you. How we doing? What's your name?
Graham.
Graham, pleased to meet you. What's your name? John, Graham and John, thank you. Listen, how long have you been coming to... Oh, your hands are lovely and warm. How long have you been coming to Sale Sharks games?
About 5 years.
About 5 years. And why do you keep coming back all the time?
Entertainment, facilities, it's a great night out.
Listen, we didn't do so well last week, so how important is this game today, do you think?
I think they'll raise it today and win.
Yeah, yourself, you feel the same?
I do. I think they'll win today.
We're sitting third, even after last week, we're sitting third. Great opportunity for us tonight, isn't it? How important do you think those bonus point wins are for us?
You've got to make every point. Every point counts. When it comes to, especially when you've got no Saracens to worry about, 4 teams this year, 3 of them will want that final.
Now, I'm sure when I hear the word Sale, it's you that's shouting it the most. I'm pretty sure I hear the accent. I can hear the accent, do you know what I mean? I suppose. You look like former rugby players yourselves. Yeah.
Andy, sorry. Andy?
It's worth coming. It's a great night out.
It's a great night out, and the beers are quite good. No?
Indeed it is. The weather never spoils it.
Actually, gentlemen, thank you very much. I'll come and check you later on. Thank you very much. Okay, let's keep wandering. Come on, Andy, let's come with me. Let's go. Let's have a little chat with some of the people. How you doing? You all right? Yeah, look how fast she was running away there. Look, how are we doing, guys? You okay? Sorry to interrupt. Wow, that looks good. What are you eating there? It's like pulled pork. Sale Sharks fans or Tigers fans? Neutral. I like it. What's your name?
Dave.
Dave.
Phil.
Dave and Phil. Why have you come down today? What's the draw?
I live in Wigan, where I've moved up, and they've come up from Hampshire. So we decided we'd come and look at the game today.
Oh, good on you. Thank you. Thank you. Yourself, same. Just like sitting on the fence.
Cheer the home team.
Rugby's the winner here. Do you know?
No one likes it. No one likes it.
Listen, we were talking. I mean, are you just generally rugby fans, obviously? We talk a lot about sitting third after we had a bit of a tough week last week as well as the Sale Sharks team against Saracens, but we stayed third. It's got to be good for us, considering where we are. I think now for you as a rugby fan, what's the most important thing to you when you come and watch a team? What do you look forward to the most?
Atmosphere. At the end of the day, I mean, you fill a stadium. You know, if you go there and you've got empty seats, it normally the atmosphere is just not there. But
so we're going to need you to shout the loudest as well, yeah? Just as you took a bite there. What about the actual game? Do you like the big hits? Do you like the running rugby? What's it for you?
Right, I want to throw it around. I want to see free the Islanders, let them have a little go.
I love that. That's a great way. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'll let you eat it before it gets cold. Sorry I didn't chat to you. That looks really good. And that's great food at the AJ. Thanks, mate. Good on you. Let's have a little... We never get up this high before, actually. I feel like we're in the nosebleeds up here as well. Do you know what I mean? Hello, guys. How we doing? You all right? So I'm going to come and bother you for a little bit. How we doing? I'm going to come and have a mither. How's it going? You all right? All right. Listen, you're on Sharks TV. Don't worry about it. It's fine. What's your name?
Sue.
Sue and...
Martin.
Sue and Martin, how you doing? Listen, how important is today's game for us? Give us your insights a little bit. What are you looking forward to the most today, especially after last weekend?
Oh, I don't know. I think this league this year is really a bit... You know, anybody can beat anybody, can't they? And if you look at all the results last week, it was just... I don't know. I feel good about tonight, though. I've got a good feeling about tonight.
I've got a feeling, yeah, absolutely. And even after that result last weekend, we still stayed third. Do you know what I mean? So something must have been right in preparing beforehand.
That's what I mean. All the other results must have gone good for us. So you just don't know, really, do you?
In regards to the rugby on the pitch, what are you looking out for the most today? How do we think we should be playing? What are you looking? Who needs to be scoring the big tries for us today?
Looking into the backs more. Looking at our 10, 15. That's what I think we need to. I think the 15 we need to really look at.
And I think that's where you take the advantage. It's knowledge over youth and experience. So and I think sometimes you need to take the juggling, as they say, don't you? Listen, you come every week, every home game. Yeah. Why do you keep coming back? Why you keep coming? Loyalty's a tough thing. It's a tough mistress sometimes. But what brings you back every time?
Since Haywood Road, Edgeley Park. Yeah, it's just local side, so you got to support them.
So you same?
Yeah, and I'm Welsh, so I've got to. It's in my blood. I've got no choice.
It's in the DNA. Do you know what I mean? Thank you so much for chatting to us. Appreciate it. Thanks for letting us bother you. We'll catch you again soon. A good chat as well. Thank you. That's good. Okay, just let it squeeze with people are trying to get through here, so we'll just let these guys get through. You just stay there, Ollie. How you doing? All right, Stu. How's it going, mate? You might as well talk to us then before you go up the stairs.
You want to talk to Dan?
Dan, how are we doing? Come and have a chat with us. Come here.
Yeah, no problem.
Come here. So we'll get rid of the stairs. Tigers fans coming through. No, you come on through. It's fine. It's the only chance you get through a gap today. Right. Why do you keep coming to the games? Why is it so important? What do you enjoy about it the most?
So this is like Sunday morning church for me. I've got to do it to get through the week. I've got to do it to get right with my soul of Sale Sharks. It just has to be done.
What do you love about Sale Sharks the most? Why is this place such a great place to be?
Just the atmosphere, just the fact that everyone gets on. I mean, looking around the ground, I recognise so many faces. So it's like a social club. It's like a social room that I come to just to chill out, relax with my friends, and hopefully watch some decent rugby.
I'm sure. Just let these people through. Come on through. We're blocking the way. So I think I remember when you were that eye. I think that's. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, absolutely. Oh God, yeah. All those years ago.
Yeah, I didn't quite make it as a player, unfortunately.
Well, that's my bad.
Dodgy knees.
My bad coaching, probably.
Evidently.
Listen, what are you looking for? What do you think is going to be the big thing for us? Is it going to be in the forwards or is it going to be the backs today?
looking at the conditions today, it's almost certainly going to be forwards. We've gone with a huge back row. Jono Ross, Wilson, Dupree. I don't fancy that absolute... I'm going to eat my words at the end of the game, but they're absolute nobodies in the back row.
I'll say we'll score in the first 5 minutes. I'm that confident.
Oh, yeah, maybe a penalty. I don't think it's one for the backs at all. I think Marlon and Chris will do well to keep warm on the touchlines, but
well, maybe we need to engage them more so they stay warm for them.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll let you get comfy, all right, because I'm getting in the way. Tell it, and you're a chicken for not coming to speak to me before, all right, and I'll get you next time, I swear to God. Right, we'll come through, come on through. That's a great looking pie you got there, I tell you. Come on through. Right, let's just go this way. Come on, Andy, let's go through. Let's squeeze through these guys. How you doing, you all right? So listen, keep the conversation coming. Andy, be careful coming down these stairs, mate, please. Keep the conversations coming, please. If you've got anything to add on Twitter or on Facebook, get chatting to us. We are moments away from kick-off. We won't be long. What is your superstitions? Keep us posted. Thanks, Andy. How are we doing? Guys, you okay? Sale Sharks supporters, Leicester Tigers supporters? Sale, Leicester? Sale. What's your name?
Alex
and?
Courtney.
Oh dear, you got to buy that lady a pint. Yeah. Andy's just knocked over a lady's pint here. What were you drinking? Pint of brandy? That's terrible. Nice one, Andy. I'll tell you, we'll sort you out. We'll get you sorted. Don't worry. We'll get you drunk by half time. Don't you worry about it. That's terrible, Andy. It's right. He's in training. He's fine. So listen, why do you come a lot? Do you come often?
No.
First time, and he dropped your pint. That's terrible as well. We'll have none of that. Listen, what are you looking forward to the most, though? Are you a big rugby fan?
Yeah, international. First time at this level, but yeah, it should be fun.
Where do you live? Where are you from?
I'm from Manchester.
You're from Manchester. This is the first time you come? Yeah. And he ruined your pint there. We've got to sort that out. He's holding on to his here now, yeah? With two hands. I mean, listen, hopefully you'll have a great time and we'll convert you. Leicester Tigers fans, good luck. Okay, I see you've got security with you and everything. Yeah, all the best. Okay, we won't knock over your pints though. That's hold on to it with two hands. Guys, great. Thank you very much. We love you, Andy. Come on. Okay, let's do that walk on. We're going to head up and we're going to speak to Chris. And remember, to keep that conversation going, we want to hear all your comments on Facebook, on Twitter and YouTube. If you've got your superstitions, we'd like to hear them. You keep us posted on the comments below. And as always, we are lucky enough to go, no Ollie this week, but we're lucky enough to see the great commentary of Chris Malaband. Chris, good to see you. And Josh is here as well today. Josh, good to see you. Over to you guys.
And welcome to round 11 in the Gallagher Premiership 2019-20. The halfway mark in the campaign. Sale Sharks sitting pretty in third place in the Gallagher Premiership table, coming up against a Leicester Tigers side down in 11th at the bottom, but in good form, having won 3 of their last 4 games. Opportunity knocks then for Sale back here at the AJ Bell on a Friday night to try and put right what they couldn't do at Saracens last weekend. The Sale lineup in full tonight: Simon Hammersley at fullback, Chris Ashton and Marlon Yard on the wings, the 2 James brothers, Sam and Luke, in the centres, Will Cliff and Rob Dupree at half-back, Cooney Oosthuizen, Rob Webber and Jake Cooper-Woolley in the front row, Bryn Evans and Jean-Luc Dupree in the engine room, Jono Ross, Mark Wilson and Dan Dupree at the back row. The bench for Sale: Curtis Langdon, Ross Harrison, Will Griff-John, James Phillips, Matt Postlethwaite in as a late replacement for Ben Curry, who failed a fitness test, Gus Waugh, Tom Curtis and Denny Solomona. Leicester Tigers line up like this: Talusa Viainu at fullback, Jonah Holmes, Yako Tort, Kyle Eastman, Jordan Olawafela, Noel Reid and debutant Jack Van Portfleet at scrum half form their backs. The pack is Bateman, Palota Nowell and Cole, Lavanini and Spencer in the second row, Liebenberg, Rafael and Bolladao are the back row. Our referee tonight is Ian Tempest in a white shirt with blue shorts. Leicester in their change kit of all red get us underway at the AJ Bell with a dropout from Noel Reid deep into Sale Sharks territory, and an opportunity for the Sharks to set up this first platform for Will Cliff from the ruck. And straight away, Sale being adventurous in the backs, and Simon Hammersley immediately breaks the gain line. Great burst from Hammersley, taking Sale towards their 10-metre line. Rob Dupree to Rob Webber. who announced a week or so ago this will be his last in professional rugby as a player. He continues the move. It's back with Hammersley. Hammersley looking to release Luke James at inside centre as play switches out to the left-hand side towards the Printerland stand. Sale going from left to right as Josh Beaumont and I look out in this first half as Cliff digs that out from the bottom of the ruck and sets Jono Ross going in that familiar all-white headband on the left-hand flank for Sale, trying to make progress up that line. All Sale so far for the first minute. Cooper Woolley stands over this ruck at the base, waits for Cliff to pick his moment. Cliff fancies a box kick here and flights that one high, but it goes straight up rather than long, and there's a chance for Leicester to get possession back with Pelota now, their Australian capped hooker. He ensures possession for the Tigers. A frenetic first couple of minutes here at the AJ Bell as Jordan Olawafela works his way down the left. We're inside Sale territory on the Sale 10-metre line as Leicester retain possession at the ruck. Van Portvliet feeds Noel Reid, the Irish outside half. Reid is stopped and Sale rob possession for a moment, but Leicester win it back. Chance for the Tigers to chip through. Across on the cover has to go Luke James, and we'll have the first line out of the night. It's going to go to Leicester Tigers. A frenetic start. A warm welcome to Josh Beaumont.
Yep, good evening, Chris. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, as you say, frenetic start. It's probably, as you can see with that, with Will Click's first box kick, anyone who saw any of the highlights from last weekend, there's a strong wind blowing what seems to be in the faces of Sale, so that's probably why they are keeping hold of the ball this first minute. Sam James had quite an easy opportunity to clear his lines from the kick-off, but decides to keep it ball in hand. And a couple of dangerous moments where just a great line-out steal just there from, I think, Bryn Evans getting up there in line-out.
Good work from Evans, as Josh says, and Rob Webber bursting through the line-out, able to secure possession as Sale clear their immediate danger, but a penalty coming. Ian Tempest giving his first penalty of the night, I think, for not releasing the tackler. And that's going to mean that there's an opportunity for Leicester to take an early lead. Josh.
Yeah, obviously very frustrating. A great line-out steal in a critical area of the pitch, just Leicester about 15 metres out from the Sale line, and yeah, very frustrating. It often happens when there's a turnover, the support isn't there quite quick enough, and Sale concede a penalty for holding on the floor, and a relatively simple 3-point chance for Noel Reid here to make it 3-0. But there's been positive from Sale in this first couple of minutes, a couple of nice line breaks, but probably a poor exit, a poor box kick from Will Cliff has really put them under pressure here.
So it's Reid, man signed from Leinster in the close season, capped by Ireland 2014. Not really been in the Irish setup for a while, but still at club level, a very reliable performer, and he makes no mistake with his first attempt of the night. So it's Leicester who go into an early lead here in the 5th minute. Sale Sharks 0, Leicester Tigers 3. So Rob Dupree has the chance to restart for Sale Sharks. Don't forget you can interact with us tonight using the hashtag SharksLive through any of the social media platforms that you are listening on. And we've already had some of our listeners and viewers getting in touch, and I'll come to those in just a moment as Leicester managed to secure possession from that Rob Dupree dropout, securing the ball on their own 22. Van Portvliet on debut goes for the big high up and under, just 18 years old. Big night for him up against the highly experienced Will Cliff, but Sale managed to secure possession 5 yards or so inside the Leicester Tigers half, and Rob Webber drives forward. Will Cliff waits at the base of the ruck, pops it up short. Chance for Dan Dupree to drive in and try and bring a few more of the Leicester tacklers into the ruck as Jono Ross takes a ball on the crash, makes another yard or so. Cliff this time digs it out, pops it to Rob Webber. Webber at first receiver drives in. Cliff recycles to Rob Dupree, who misses out Luke James, finds his brother Sam, who is brought down with a strong tackle by Yako Tort right on halfway. Sale struggling to make yardage at the moment as in goes Cliff.
Yeah, Sale at the moment is really struggling to get any quick ball. Leicester are really targeting that breakdown, but a lovely kick from Rob Dupree just relieved some pressure and put Vianu under some pressure, and he's just exited it out towards the Sale 10-metre line, and Sale now have an attacking line out in a good position.
Yep, Talusa Vianu, one of Leicester's mainstays at fullback, can also play on the wing. Tonga international with plenty of Super Rugby experience behind him. Leicester, though, weakened in a few places tonight, particularly the back row. No Jordan Tawafua or Sione Kalamafoni, both injured. Ben White, who is Ben Young's usual deputy at 9, also injured, hence the opportunity for young Van Portvliet as Sale win that line out comfortably, and unfortunately a fumble in midfield lets them down, and a knock-on coming. It's going to mean a Leicester put into the scrum on halfway. Josh.
Yeah, very frustrating there from Sale. It was good line-out ball, one at the front by Daniel Dupree, uncontested, and relatively simple move which involved Luke James just popping off to Mark Wilson on almost a crash ball line to set up something in the midfield, but unfortunately just knocked it on there for Sale, and we're heading into the first scrum of the game. It would be interesting. It's somewhere where Leicester traditionally prided themselves on, and certainly they've had impressive performances in that scrum area. I can think back to the big game where they dismantled Harlequin's scrum at Twickenham just after Christmas time, and
yes,
they were very successful in that area against Wasps last week. So see what happens here in the first scrum. It's always as expected, a reset. It's always a bit cagey, the first scrum of the game. Both front rows trying to work each other out, and probably work out the referee as well and see what he's going to do all evening.
There's a lot of experience in these two front rows, isn't there, Josh? Rob Webber against Polotonau for Leicester, Oosthuizen against Dan Cole, Cooper Woolley against Bateman. They've all guys been round the block a few times.
Yeah, it is indeed, and it's probably actually where over the 15s, it's probably the most highly contested area in these two teams. A lot of Premiership experience, a lot of international experience, and the first penalty goes against the Sharks, and just trying to see what he's given it on the tight head side against Jake Cooper Woolley for, I think, just losing his feet there in the engagement. So, disappointing outcome there for the Sharks, and it's hard to tell at this stage because it's a collapsed scrum how that's going to line up for the rest of the game.
Well, Leicester will certainly be the happier of the two camps so far, as that one is cleared into touch by Noel Reid, giving his side the line out just outside the Sale 22. Let's see what a few people have been saying on social media. Dawn Wilkinson says her 11-year-old niece is at the game tonight and is very excited. Well, I hope she enjoys her evening with us, Dawn, as Pelota now throws into the line out. It's scruffy ball for Leicester, but they do secure it, and Van Portvliet at scrum half waits and pops the ball to Thomas Lavanini, their Argentinian international second row. He drives but can't make too much forward motion as that ball from Van Portvliet drops out to no one in particular behind him, and Leicester struggling just to get a little bit of fluency here, but they are still in possession. It's Will Spencer now driving it up in midfield, and Van Portvliet showing confidence. The 18-year-old on his debut looks to snipe and go himself, but Sale are penalised, and it's going to be another very kickable penalty for Noel Reid, midway between the 22 and the 10-metre line, bang in front of the posts.
Yeah, it's another soft penalty there, Chris. I think Jake Cooper Woolley just diving over the breakdown. It's been a bit of a theme this first 10 minutes. The breakdown has been scrappy for both teams. I don't know whether the conditions are playing a part. It's probably quite slippy out there, ball's quite wet, and it's just slowing everything up, and the Nines are really struggling to digging that ball out, and that one just came loose, and Jake Cooper Woolley, I think, saw his opportunity just to dive over the top and tackle the Nine, but was deemed to be going off his feet. So Noel Reid just lining up a kick in front of the sticks here.
So Reid angling the ball towards the posts, not electing to get anyone from his side to hold it on a windy night. He'll hope the ball doesn't move at the last moment. Here he comes, number 10 Reid, strikes it, it comes off the post, could still be dangerous. And Sale managed to get it away, and hit goes Marlon Yard. First chance for him to stretch his legs tonight, the Sale left winger, and he manages to give Sale possession on the 22, carrying the ball out about 15 metres or so with that run. And Will Cliff can secure the ball again for his side. So a bit of luck for Sale. Reed will be disappointed to have missed that. Difficult win tonight, but that was bang in front. And it'll be one he'll have hoped to have kicked at least 4 times out of 5. That Sale, though, can benefit. It remains 3-0 to the visitors. Here goes Luke James, trying to break a couple of tackles and securing exactly that. He had Sam James on his shoulder, but he just couldn't quite get it away to his brother. James was there, Sam version, ready to take that on with plenty of space, but the knock-on comes, and that's more frustration for the Sharks, and another scrum to the visiting Tigers.
Yeah, actually really good ambition there from Sale. I think Rob Dupree probably made an overcall there. He saw there was a kind of a 3-4-on-2 overlap on that width, and it was actually a very good pass. It was about 20 metres in the wind that Rob Dupree sent out to Luke James, and yeah, just unfortunately the offload just didn't get away, and to his elder sibling there, Sam, and yeah, a knock on, and yet again another dangerous attacking position for Leicester.
Slight delay here for a bit of running repairs in the Leicester backline. Chance to respond to Michael Rodney. Hi Michael, thanks for getting in touch with us. He's asking the reason for Faf de Klerk's absence tonight. Well Michael, Faf picked up an MCL, that's one of the cruciate ligament types, an MCL injury down at Bath a few weeks ago, and that's what's ruled him out ever since. He is aiming to be back for the London Irish game, when we hope to that Lou Diaga can make his debut, and that's also the hoped for return of Rohan Janse van Rensburg and Akker van der Merwe, as Sale completely dominate the Leicester scrum. Leicester penalised for collapsing, so a complete reversal of the first scrum penalty. High fives all round for the Sale tight 8, and an opportunity for Sam James to clear from the penalty.
Yeah, that could be a real momentum shift, that little moment there. As I said, after the first scrum, just because it was a collapse and no really team got an advantage, it's hard to tell how the scrum was going, but that was a very dominant scrum from Sale from as soon as the ball came in. We call it the snap in forward terminology, and Sale got the snap then, and as the ball came in, they really shunted the Leicester pack forward, and yeah, and now they've got another good attacking position on the Leicester 10-metre line.
Rob Webber prepares to throw then on the Leicester 10-metre, as Josh says. Bryn Evans dominant at the front of the line-out, secures that bowl. Luke James to Rob Dupree. Denny Solomona coming in from his right wing, popping up in the outside centre channel, takes the move on up to the Leicester 10-metre line, and then not for the first time tonight we see a handling error in the midfield, and this time it's Jean-Luc Dupree who spills. Dan Dupree. Mark Wilson earlier couldn't hold on, and I'm not sure, Josh, whether this is the wind playing a part or a bit of moisture perhaps getting on the ball from a damp surface.
I think Dan or John Luke, it's hard to tell these twins apart. Dan. I think he probably just got caught out there he was stood a bit wider and probably wasn't expecting the ball. Usually the ball goes to that middleman, but it came to him and he stood outside the middleman and just reacted a bit late. But a bit of a story of what was going on down at Saracens last week for Sale. They were a lot of individual errors, a lot of knock-ons, and just really halted kind of any good attacking positions or any momentum that they were forming in their attack. And just got to regroup here. We see the forwards just getting together in a little circle. They're probably thinking, a Leicester scrum, they could probably do the same again to that Leicester pack as they did in the previous scrum. So, and I think Leicester will be pretty happy with this first kind of 15 minutes, and just unfortunately it looks like Jacko Tart, the South African outside centre for Leicester, has had a nasty shoulder injury and he's just leaving the pitch, so I didn't quite hear the replacement.
It's Johnny McPhillips, Josh, who's come on, so Leicester have got a 6-2 bench tonight. McPhillips is a fly half, formerly of Ulster, so a bit of a rejig in the Leicester backs as Jacko Tart comes off. Doesn't look good for the South African, and that's a key back potentially out of the game after just 14 minutes.
Yeah, I've just seen it reshuffled. It looks like Noel Reid has moved to outside centre. He's played a lot of rugby there, I think, in his Leinster days. So he just switched to 13, and McNichol's coming at 10 there.
We're on the Sale 22-metre line, and it's going to be a Sale line-out. If you're just joining us on Sharks Live, very good evening. I'm Chris Malaband, alongside me Josh Beaumont, joining on co-commentary. It's Sale Sharks 0, Leicester Tigers 3 after a quarter of an hour. Sale yet to really find their rhythm. I don't think they've been beyond the Leicester 10-metre line so far, so certainly no threat to the Leicester line. The Tigers have managed to kick a penalty, but Noel Reid then missed another good opportunity to double his side's lead. So still very much in the melting pot in these early stages as Leicester try and secure ball with scrum half Van Portvliet just inside their own half. Now Kyle Eastman looking to bring in Olawafela from the wing, and yet again a handling error. We've seen plenty of those, and Ian Tempest actually upgrading from the Sale scrum to a penalty, penalising Leicester for offside, and a chance for Sam James potentially to pump this ball into the corner. Josh?
Yeah, I could just hear Mike Forshaw, the defence coach for Sale Sharks, just next to me saying up, 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 as that kick sort of sent up by Wilcliffe. There's a really good kick chase by Marlon Yard, who caught the Leicester winger on the halfway line. Then the line speed continued and just forced Leicester into throwing a bit of a 50-50 ball there. Kyle Eastman to Olafawaya. So, yeah, it's finally given the Sale Sharks crowd something to cheer about, and just as the rain has started again, so I don't think we'll be seeing a high-scoring game today at this rate.
No, it doesn't look like it, does it? The rain really is coming in. As I drove across through Cheshire today, Josh, through the kind of Warrington Runcorn area, it was paddy fields left and right driving across the M56, so it's a credit to the ground staff here at the AJ Bell that the pitch is in such good nick. And now a chance for Rob Dupree. Dupree with a kick through. Marlon Yard chasing, but we're going to come back. Ian Tempest's arm is raised. He'd already given a penalty. The Leicester backline had stopped, but a piercing break from Rob Dupree, trying the kick through for Yard to chase, but the penalty already awarded to Sale inside the Leicester 22, and a decision now to make whether to go for goal or kick to the corner.
Yeah, a bit of mistiming there for the Sale backline. I think one player tried to hit a hard line, it just ended up in the crossing, but as he said, a good position here for Sale. Sam James beats it to within about 7 metres out from the Leicester line.
Was that a surprise that Sam James kicked to the corner there, Josh? Because that looked pretty kickable for Rob Dupree.
I think it must be the wind. It's quite hard to tell here, but it seems like it's blustering around, and maybe Sale are against the wind, but it really funnels in from that south, I think it's south stand here at Sharks, so we'll see. I'm thinking driving more here, which the
Webber's throw in taken by Jean-Luc Dupree. The Leicester defence is excellent. They spotted what was attempted, which, as Josh Beaumont said, it was an attempt driving more, but driven out by the Leicester line-out. There's a bit of trouble between Dan Cole and Jono Ross on the floor as they get themselves acquainted, but nothing particularly to get excited about.
Watched the Leicester game last week. They defended the Wasp driving more very well, but sometimes illegally they I think they've been done there for both coming in at the side and also an early hit on the line-out jumper. So Sam James gets another opportunity to put Sale 5 metres out, and I imagine it'll be another more.
Well, Sale sticking to the formula. Rob Webber again looking to throw in 5 metres out, attacking down the right-hand side. What can Webber do with this throw? He goes once more to the front, but the ball is moved on to Bryn Evans. Evans then at the back of the line-out tries to spin. Clearly a training ground manoeuvre from Sale, but again the Leicester defence is very robust, certainly at the moment. Sale thrown to the ground 5 metres short, and this time the penalty coming against Sale. No, well, it's a yellow card that's been given against Dan Cole. Initially, Ian Tempest raised his arm towards Leicester Tigers, but then swiveled his body. It's a Sale penalty, and Dan Cole, 95 England caps, is going to have 10 minutes to cool off.
Yeah, they hit that ball very aggressively again, and Sale are actually very smart there. Leicester, kind of overload that front in their defence. They really hit the front of the line out hard. It was just a simple pop, well, not simple, it's a very hard skill to actually, but pop from the line-out pod to a pod that formed further back just to shift the focus of attack there. As Sale lined up again, it's a 6-man line-out this time, 5 metres out, and be interesting if they run something similar with that shift play.
Really good opportunity this for Sale with Cole off the park. Leicester down to 14, and the driving maul forms. Webber at the back of it, Cliff policing it. Dan Dupree spinning off it. Here goes Cliff, digging into the feet of the forwards, popping it short. In goes Cooper Woolley, Sale a couple of metres out. Webber to Ross. Ross running at the post, but he's lost it in the tackle. He tried to hand it off to Daniel Dupree. It went loose, and Leicester could gratefully heave it downfield off the boot of Noel Reid. And Leicester managed to Sale shut out. Frustration for the Sharks. 20 minutes gone. It seals Sale 0, Leicester Tigers 3.
Yeah, it was good defence, I think, by Reffel, the Leicester 7. Johnny Ross ran in probably a bit too upright, and he just got it ripped out there, and Leicester managed to get a good clearance on that out to the 10-metre line. So Sale again, as you said, frustrated. They're against 10 men, against 14 men. Sorry, I'm talking football terms there. Against 14 men, you really want to make that 10 minutes count, and I'm sure they'll get another opportunity. But in these conditions, you don't want to waste them.
Rob Webber's throw, won by Bryn Evans at the front. Evans then securing possession for Sale, and Sale can take advantage, driving up the middle of the park, and Leicester struggling now to deal with wave after wave of Sale attack. But from the ruck that formed, it's Leicester who managed to win the put-in. It's Tommy Reffel, the Wales under-20 captain at open side, who secured the turnover for the Tigers. And it's going to be a Leicester scrum central on their 22-metre line. Frustration again, Josh.
Yeah, it's a theme of this first half for Sale. But again, great work from Reffel, the 7 from Leicester. Dan Dupree carrying out there. Just again a bit too upright, and Leicester threw 2 or 3 players into that contact area and just managed to get the turnover. But it's interesting now. Go back to the scrum, and obviously Dan Cole came off into the bin, so Joe Hayes comes on at tight head, and Oliver Fawley comes off to replace him. So it'll be an interesting first scrum for Hayes after the last couple of Sale dominant scrums.
Yeah, one of the aspects, of course, of a front row forward being in the sin bin. Replacement has to come on as soon as a scrum is required. Joe Hayes on, Oliver Fawley, the winger, takes a temporary leave, but this time the scrum decision goes in Leicester's favour. We've seen Ian Tempest penalise one of the sides at all 3 of the first 3 scrums. Leicester the beneficiaries twice, Sale once, but it's a Leicester penalty on their 22.
Yeah, it's always hard to really figure out what's going on in that front row. It's a lot of dark arts. But
I'm glad you feel that as well, Josh, because I always do.
I'm in the second row, not too far away, and I'm still don't have a clue what's going on in there. But just then, I think probably a bit of eagerness from the Sale front row to show the dominance again, and they probably engaged a bit too hard, too early, and just lost the feet. So, yeah, probably that frustration carrying through to the rest of the game at the moment. They just need to stay composed here now, Sale. Leicester, as I said, down to 14 men, so the pressure's on them, but we're giving them a couple of easy outs here. So, again, there's good clearance from Leicester, and their attacking line out now, which is won by Lavanini at the front.
Decent throw from Pelota now to pick out his second row, and Leicester in possession. Try and crash through the midfield, and for a moment it looked like they'd achieved success doing exactly that, but a shrill blast from Ian Tempest brought to a halt the best efforts of Irifirimi Boladao, their number 8, who'd popped up in the inside centre channel. And back we come for a scrummage.
I don't think I'd fancy tackling him tonight. And he ran that quite hard. I think broke the first tackle there, but luckily for Sale, the whistle went. But again, the stop-start nature of this game continues. It's just been scrappy, as probably expected in these conditions, and yet again we've got another scrum, so it's the lottery. Who knows what this one will throw up here.
The 2 packs crouch, bind and set, and this time the scrum pops up, but Ian Tempest lets it go, and this time eventually awards Sale the penalty. It really is very, very messy, these scrummages at the moment. Perhaps sides in both camps struggling to get a foothold on this tacky surface.
I can't quite see what I was given for, whether it was at this scrum or at the following breakdown. I think Leicester looked like they actually turned it over from the scrum, even though Sale were going forward. It was quite messy ball at the back, it kind of popped out, and yeah, I'm not sure if he's at the breakdown, but it gives Sale another opportunity on the Leicester 10-metre line to set up an attacking platform. I think it'll be interesting now to see Sale have played off the top a few times, whether in these conditions they go back to mauling. I know it's an area where Leicester are strong at defending, but in these conditions, we just want to keep hold of the ball for a while.
Good work at the front as ever from Bryn Evans, flicking the ball back to Will Cliff, who can find Rob Dupree. Now then, what can Sale do here? Rob Webber takes the ball on the crash. He's been very active in the loose so far in this first half as Sale have tried to punch holes in the Leicester defence. Marlon Yard up in support of this attack in from his left wing as Cliff digs this out again on the Leicester 10-metre line. Once more, the red defence crabs across to try and shut down the space. And once again, Ian Tempest blows his whistle for a knock-on. And it's Dan Dupree for the second time tonight who infringes. We've had 25 minutes at the AJ Bell. It's been an opening 25 minutes full of mistakes and scrappy rugby to a large extent as running repairs take place to both teams. Hello to Eliza Zaffarano-Carlson in the US, who I'm pretty sure is Bryn Evans' mum-in-law. So hello Eliza, good to have you with us, and thanks for joining us again through Sharks Live. Don't forget you can get in touch with us throughout the evening, whether you are listening to the commentary on Twitter, on Facebook or on YouTube. And if you mark your comment #Sharks Live, then we'll certainly see it and hopefully reply to you. Josh.
Yeah, it's just one of those evenings. I don't think the viewers or the listeners are particularly entertained right now. It's I'd say a lot of stop-start rugby. I just think Sale, they're trying to play the rugby, but it's just not the conditions for it tonight. I think a lot there, they had a pre-planned move there, and just everything looks a bit slow at the moment. Both teams are putting pressure on the breakdown, and whether Sale then reverts to the kicking game, whether they do that now or especially in the second half when they're with the wind.
Collapse scrum, penalty goes in Sale's favour. Once more the scrum is proving a bit of a shambles, and that levels it up on the penalty count directly from scrums to 2-2 by my maths. And once more Rob Dupree elects to turn down the opportunity of going for goal, tries instead to kick for the corner. Looked like for a minute he might have overdone it, but he's just about managed to keep that inside the corner flag, and Sale will have a 5-metre line out.
Yeah, I was really squeezing that one in now. I was a bit worried when it left his boot. It looked like it was heading out in the dead ball area, but another great opportunity here for Sale. It must be very tough conditions on the pitch, because Rob Dupree, for these what usually are kickable penalties for him, he's turned them all down, and you can just see as he kicks it, the ball is holding up as it reaches kind of the top of the stand level. And Sale just hit the front of the line out without a jump there. Quite a clever move. It gives him a stable base as the driving maul goes forward.
Webber at the back of it, driving. This
strong.
Is promising. Sale, though, are shunted to the ground. Couple of metres short, couple of metres in from the left touch line. Ian Tempest's arm is extended. I wonder if we've got a penalty coming. Leicester scrapping on the floor once again to try and deny Sale. But as the ball is let out, the Leicester Tigers break on an interception. But we do come back for the penalty. Rather unsportsman behaviour from Jonah Holmes, who kicks the ball downfield just to give his team a little bit more time to reset. And Sale will have a penalty from close range. Rob Dupree kicks it into touch.
It's interesting what Ian Tempest will do here, because I think that's about 4 or 5 penalties. He's obviously sin-binned Dan Cole after the second penalty where they were collapsing the driving maul, and yet again then stopping a try. It'll be interesting to see if Tempest goes for a penalty try or another yellow card soon, but you'd think the penalty try option, given the amounts of offences, and it gives Sale again another fantastic opportunity to score a driving maul try here.
To the middle the throw goes. Bryn Evans secures it. Clean ball. Webber runs round his throw. He's the key man on the ball again at the back of this driving maul. Sale 2 metres short. Webber buried under the tackle, and the scrum goes Leicester Tigers' way, and it was Johnny McPhillips, their substitute fly half, who got in the tackle on Rob Webber, took him to the ground and won the turnover for his side. Great work from the replacement, and Sale once again not able to take advantage of a fantastic field position.
Yeah, it looked like a really good initial setup from the Sharks there. Everyone was in place, very compact, tight, and then as he got spun towards the post, he just lost the shape and he lost their momentum almost and kind of fell over each other's feet, and it's very disappointing because Sale have been in this position now, almost a dozen times and not come away with anything. So and obviously the driving maul has proved successful over the course of the season for Sale. I think Ake van der Merwe is our leading try scorer with tries off the back of maul. So yeah, another scrum here. Leicester ball, they'll just run to clear lives.
Great shove from the Sharks, but Leicester are able to come away with it. And it's number 8, Bolladau, the Sevens international, Fijian, who's on loan from Nottingham, who's driven his side up towards their own 22-metre line. Good yardage gain from the number 8, and Van Poortvliet now can compose himself. He's certainly not looked overawed by the occasion on his Premiership debut. What am I saying? As immediately Bryn Evans charges down Van Poortvliet's attempted clearance kick. Evans, the hero, with his first try of the season, collects to score. Horrible moment for the debutant, great moment for Bryn Evans, and finally Sale break through. Sale Sharks 5, Leicester Tigers 3.
Yeah, I think that's Bryn Evans' third try of the season from a charge down. He's a specialist in that area, and as you see the Leicester number 9 there, the young lad on debut, Van Poortvliet, he just probably didn't have the protection in place. Usually teams set up another player just in front of the 9 to give him that protection, but yeah, probably he's learning the hard way at this moment. He just took his time in a key area of the pitch, and Bryn Evans was there ready to pounce.
Excellent work from Evans, showing his mobility and awareness and no little skill in scoring that try. And the former All Black second row able to find the breakthrough for a Sale Sharks side that had struggled to pick the lock of a Leicester defence that were repelling them at every attempted maul and drive. But Evans finding a way to get Sale going. Now then, difficult conversion for Rob Dupree, 10 metres or so in from the left-hand touchline. First attempt of the night for him. Looks a really good strike, and I think he's nailed it. Oh dear. Just coming up short, I think.
If I was struggling to figure out the strength of the wind, and that kick shows it. I mean, he's on the 22, about 10 metres in, and the ball has not made it to the sticks, and he seems to strike that well, and it was perfectly on target. So yeah, there's a reason why the Sale Sharks aren't going for post and they're kicking for the corner, but it's probably deserved that try, even though it came in kind of messy circumstances with the the territory and the pressure Sharks have been applying. But it'll be that might just settle the Sharks down a bit, and we'll see how they react just as Sam James kicks it. What looks like it's gone backwards. Bolladau's come back with a strong carrying out to the 10-metre line of the Sharks for Leicester.
On halfway then, the Leicester Tigers look to rebuild. 9.5 minutes left in the first half at the AJ Bell. Thanks for joining us on Sharks Live. Josh Beaumont alongside me, Chris Malaband, as the home side move into the lead for the first time tonight. 5 points to 3 after a very stop-start first half an hour or so. Simon Hammersley secures a bit of territory gain for the Sharks, and then Rob Webber, who's been active in this first half, makes the second drive forward as Sale look to move towards their own 10-metre line. Will Cliff waits at the base of this ruck. Ball coming back on the Sale side. Denny Solomona available short if he wants to go on the short side, or a range of dark blue shirts away to his left, but Cliff elects to box kick instead and try and put some pressure on Jonah Holmes. Good chase from the Sharks, but Van Poortvliet able to secure possession for Leicester Tigers and pop the ball short into his pack. Hanro Liebenberg at number 6 takes the pop pass.
Yeah, that was a much better kick from Will Cliff there, just getting used to the conditions, and fantastic chase on Dennis Solomon as Van Poortvliet returns the favour, but not a great kick chase there from Leicester. Allows Simon Hammersley to open his legs and makes a nice pop off to Cooney Oosthuizen, who takes it up beyond the Leicester halfway line. And now Will Cliff attacks down the short side, feeds Dan Dupree, who makes yards up towards the 10-metre line now. Some better play, a bit more urgency from the Sharks now.
Webber continues the move, back to Cliff. Good recycling across the park from Sale. Now Dupree, and hitting the line at pace goes Marlon Yard. Yard sprinting into open space, is going to score. What a terrific try from Marlon Yard. It's 4 months since he dotted down for the Sale Sharks, but what a moment for him to score his second try of the season. Hit the line at real pace. Great pass from Dupree to spot the run, and a terrific execution from the flying wing. It's Sale Sharks 10, Leicester Tigers 3.
Yeah, fantastic line there from, I was just saying beforehand, how Sale, the momentum, they were playing with a bit more freedom, a bit quicker ball, and it was a fantastic line, a delayed pass from Rob Dupree, and Marlon Yard hits the line off his shoulder and sprints in from about 40 metres, and Marlon Yard's been doing a lot of sprint work in his own time recently. The last couple of weeks going down to specialist coach at Loughborough University, and showing there, he obviously had a horrific knee injury about a year and a half ago, and took him 12 months to come back, and he's looking much more like his old self in the last few weeks, and so it's great to see him get that try, and you can see as the Sale Sharks players celebrate with him how delighted they are as well to see him back and scoring tries at the AJ Bell.
Terrific finish from Yard. That's really interesting to hear, Josh, that he's gone and worked with a specialist coach for sprinting. I'd be quite an insight to hear more about that. Here is Rob Dupree then. He's learnt from his previous kick how hard he's got to kick this ball. It's just fallen over as he set it in his tee. Looks like Jono Ross might be running forward.
That's the captain's duties there. He's probably the last thing he wants to do is sprint 50 metres to go and hold it, but
here goes
Dupree.
He's been sent back. He almost got there, and then Rob Dupree ran up and just belted it anyway. And he kicked it right between the sticks. He learnt from his previous one, and it's Sale Sharks 12. Leicester Tigers 3.
I think John Ross is just trying to get his GPS numbers up there. It was although to be fair, it's either him or the front row, so he's taking one for the team there. But a great kick from Rob there. Obviously struggled in the last one and drilled it a bit lower through the post, and 12-3 and Sale are in much more commanding position now.
What if that counts in his official Premiership yardage gain stats, Josh? Maybe that's an extra 40 metres for him. But anyway, nonetheless, Rob Dupree did the magic from the tee. And that now looks very much to be going Sale's way as Ian Tempest once more awards the home side a penalty. Just coming back to the Marlon Yard area, Josh, I know it's a very different position to the one you play, but I think for listeners, they'd think, well, a guy like Marlon, you know, he's a winger, he's played rugby through school and for many years at club standard, he knows how to run fast, that's what he does. What else is there to learn from a specialist coach? But clearly there is new technology, new ways of thinking about every aspect of the game.
Definitely, it's something a lot of wingers do now. It's something Eddie Jones really looks at for the England wingers, his GPS stats and the max speed they call it. And I think you know a very quick winger will be hitting about 10 metres per second, I think, or something along those lines. And Marlon got back up to what he was running, previous to his knee injury last week when he was with this sprint coach. Albeit he's on an athletics track, but it just shows that he's really working hard at his game. And there's a lot of other sport you can learn off other sports, especially sprinting and the way you get your body to function and the way it can move. It's something that not just backs are taught now in pre-season, forwards are taught. We have sprint sessions, speed work, so it's exploring any opportunities to gain advantage.
Sale, of course, with really deep resources on the wings. Ashton Yard, of course, Solomona and McGuigan too. So it's a very, very strong area for the Sale Sharks. McGuigan back in Scotland duty tomorrow as Dennis Solomona loops in Rob Webber. And now Sale drive forward once again with Solomona to the fore, up to the 22. He's looking to try and pop the ball out to Dan Dupree. It's all the Sharks at the moment. They're smelling blood, fancying a third try before the interval. Sale driving in again. Cliff to Jean-Luc Dupree. Sale 10 or 15 metres out, no more. The Sale fans right behind their side. Ross is shackled about 8 metres short. In goes Cliff to Webber, arguably man of the match in this first half for my money for Sale, as Cooper Woolley gets the ball on a pop pass 5 metres or so from the line. Cliff out towards the left.
Just slowed up again now for Sale. They really got some good momentum before. They had 4 quick breakdowns on his rows. They're just taking the phases now in the 22. And I think Marlon Yard just takes a position at 9. He's looking to be Jean-Luc Dupree here, and they'll try and wrestle back this momentum as the pass goes a bit loose, but they're still working hard around the corner. The Sale forwards just in the 22 as Rob Dupree puts a kick over the top, and Toulouse Viano takes a safe catch and takes the mark. But I think there was an advantage maybe, and Ian Tempest comes back to about 10 metres in from the touchline, about 10 metres out from the try line. So these penalties are really stacking up now against Leicester, and no doubt Sale will go back towards the corner and see if they can finally get a driving maul over the try line.
That one given by Tempest for not rolling away. And well, it's really been a first half of 2 halves, hasn't it, Josh? No real Sale territory for the first 20 minutes or so. Leicester having the better of it in admittedly a rather scrappy encounter, but the last 20 minutes of this half, partly predicated, you think, by Dan Cole's absence for 10 minutes. Sale have really started to turn the screw, and the tries have eventually started to come. And there's the opportunity with 2 minutes left on the clock in this first period for Sale to try and notch a third and potentially give themselves a fair bit of daylight on the scoreboard. Bryn Evans, scorer of the first try, secures the ball from the line out. Webber collects it back from his second row. It's Webber who's marshalling this one. The ball stuffed up his jumper the way that Leicester Tigers love to do for so many years. Well, they're getting a taste of their own medicine here from the Sale Sharks. Marlon Yard's right in there as well. Sale are on the line. It's Yard who's forced to the floor. Luke James driving in. Cooper Woolley is there. Can Jake Cooper Woolley burrow over? Ian Tempest having a good look. Sale still held up just short. Cooney Oosthuizen burrows in as he got there. Tempest was slow in getting round to have a look at this one. Oosthuizen looking up at the referee as if to say, I've got this down. And this might be the first chance of the night for the TMO Trevor Fisher to get involved. Indeed, Trevor Fisher's expertise is being summoned, and we'll see whether Cooney Oosthuizen has scored the third try of the night.
It certainly looked like a try. It seemed to almost flop over on that short side as they pick and go. Usually forward packs head towards the post, but this time Cooney Oosthuizen went on his own, saw an opportunity and just went towards the touchline, and it looks as though he scored this. There was no kind of protest from any Leicester players. I think Sale probably should have scored from the previous driving maul, but Marlon Yard decided to get on the back of it, and forwards never like that when backs.
I was going to say, does that help?
Forwards never like that when backs get involved in driving mauls. It's a frustration. Chris Ashton is the prime culprit for doing that at Sale, but I'm not sure particularly. It does, looking at the replays here, it does look like he has got that down.
Yeah, like you say, there was no one in a red shirt pointing at a player from their side who might have burrowed under Oosthuizen's body. It was fairly desperate on the Leicester line, and I think if you have a team that's having to defend so heavily, eventually the waters break. And I think Oosthuizen, well, it's difficult. Yeah, he looks like he's got the ball on the line there. So unless the TMO thinks he's fumbled it, it looks like a try. A decision appears to have been made. Let's have a look. What's Ian Tempest saying? Try given. And Cooney Oosthuizen scores his second try of the season. The first time he's gone over the whitewash in the Gallagher Premiership, adding to the try he scored at Glasgow in the European Champions Cup. And Sale now have a commanding lead a minute before the break. Oosthuizen's score making it the Sale Sharks 17, Leicester Tigers 3.
Yeah, a very difficult man to stop from that range. Cooney Oosthuizen, he's a dynamic ball carrier as a prop, and obviously from a metre out, and he got himself in a really low position and just kind of powerfully flopped over the line. I'll describe
a power
it as
flop.
Yeah, a power flop. But yeah, the dam has kind of just suddenly burst in the last 10 minutes from the Leicester's defence, and all that Sale dominance is showing fruition now with points on the scoreboard. So, they'll be delighted now, Sale, to be going into this half-time potentially 19-3 up if Rob Dupree nails this kick, which is in exactly the same position as his previous two kicks on the look of it, which is rather odd.
Seems to be almost to the same postage stamp location. Right, Dupree missed the first, he got the second. Can he succeed with his third? Left-hand side, about 20 metres or so in from touch. Getting some assistance this time, the ball being held. And Dupree drives it. It's a really good conversion. Good combination with Sam James putting the finger on the top of the ball to steady it in the wind. And an excellent conversion from Rob Dupree. Sale Sharks 19, Leicester Tigers 3. and we're into red time on the clock at the end of the opening 40.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if Leicester go short and try and win the ball back, and Sale will just look, I think, just to punt this out as Luke James collects it. I don't know if, that's brilliant play from Luke James. He steadied his feet, headed backwards and kicked off for half-time here at the AJ Bell.
So that is half-time at the AJ Bell. Sale Sharks 19, Leicester Tigers 3. The visitors going into an early lead thanks to Noel Reid's penalty. But ever since Bryn Evans managed to charge down Jack Van Portvliet's attempted clearance just before the half hour, that was very much the first of the Sale replies. Marlon Yard then bursting into the line at pace, made it 10 points to 3 after 33 minutes, and then just before half-time, Cooney Oosthuizen rumbling over from close range has given Steve Diamond's men a decent cushion at the interval. So Josh, what would your summary be of that first half performance from the Sharks?
Well, I think the first half an hour of the half, they'd be pretty disappointed. The analysts just walked past me and gone breakdown to me, because I was saying a lot of the time that for both teams, really, the breakdown was messy. It created slow ball and turned into a bit of a turgid affair. But Sale kind of, once they got that momentum, once they got that quick ball, they looked such a more threatening team. And yeah, Leicester just probably haven't played the conditions very well. They tried to kick towards the corner, and as the rain just hammers down at half-time, Sale have the wind in the second half, and they're probably just going to look to kick it and let Leicester play out in these tough conditions.
Well, Sale have the win to benefit them in the second period, as Josh says. The rain is sheeting down here now at the AJ Bell. It's a fairly filthy February night, and at half-time here, it's Leicester Tigers 3, the Sale Sharks 19. Let's go pitch side now with Colin McKevitt.
Thanks very much, Chris. Thank you very much, Josh. You're doing an absolutely fantastic up there, Josh. Thank you for that. We'll see you again shortly. Let's go for our little walk around, Chris. Let's go and see what people are. If you've got any questions, keep the conversation going. Comments, I keep saying it all the time on all the social media channels. Come on, Lee, as quick as you can. Let's go up the stairs here and chat to a few people and get their half-time opinions and see where we're up to. These like a bunch of interesting lads. We'll have a chat to these guys. How you doing, gents? You okay?
Absolutely fabulous, yes.
Where are you from?
Chester.
Chester?
Yeah, Chester.
From Chester. So, hardcore Sharks fans then?
Yes, absolutely.
Just checking. What do you think so far?
Brilliant recovery. We didn't make it into their half for the first 10 minutes, but after that, it's been brilliant. A few little mistakes, but it's been really good team play.
Do you think it took a little bit too long to get going, or do you think we're in the flow now?
No, I think we're going well now. Yeah, I think it was a shame we didn't make the extra man count initially, but we did in the end, just in time. Yeah.
Nice looking break from Marlon there.
What? Fabulous. The speed, the skill. Yeah, he's really on fire, isn't he? He's on form.
He's been working really hard to get us there, hasn't he? Yeah. Jake Cutby, getting a nice little try there as well.
That's very good, isn't it?
So then he's juggling down this side here as well.
Incredible hand skills in this Baltic storm that we have here today as well. I wish they could have done that last blooming week as well, though.
Yeah,
Gents, thank you very much. Very much pleasure. Thank you very much. Okay, Lee, follow me. Remember, keep the conversation going. Comments below. Hello, how we doing? How's it going? I'm going to come up for a chat. How we doing, sir? You okay? Okay. What's your name?
Phil.
Graham. Great, pleased to meet you. How are you? No swearing now, people watching. Just quick one, what do you think of that first half?
A slow start, but a good end. Good, nice end.
We like a good recovery, don't we?
Well, the first 15 minutes, I was reminded of Sale versus Leicester at Edgeley Park in the rain quite a few years ago, and it was 3-3 at the end. And I was thinking, are we having another one of those?
We love a 3-3 draw. What are you talking about? Oh my God! Do you remember them 3-3 draws back in the day?
Muddy draws.
Yeah. Now listen, what we're looking for in the second half? What are you hoping for?
More of the same, really. Keep it going, keep possession. Possession is king, and no penalties.
Trying to work out if the wind's going that way, or that. I think the wind behind us, we might get lucky.
Yeah, but it's swirling a bit, isn't it? But I think it's predominantly going to be in our favour.
I think I'd like to see more of those Marlon breaks, if I'm honest, because that was pretty special.
He seems to be back onto his speed for his injury.
Good on you. I'll catch you soon. Thank you very much. Okay, come with me. Hello, how you doing? You right? Okay, sorry, Lee. This way with me. Let's have a little run around here. Just be careful on the stairs, Lee. Again, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter. Keep the conversations going. We want to hear what your thoughts are of the game so far, and whether or not you really enjoy this kind of rugby weather. Let's go and catch up with the guys that we spoke to a little bit before. Oh my God, this is like a disaster zone for me right now. It's all right. Andy's not here now. Andy's doing another camera somewhere else. It's all right. Your beers are safe. Andy, he'd knock them all over. So what do you think of our first half? Was that okay?
Good. Worried at first. Tigers came in strong, but I thought we were patient, we worked hard, and we've deserved the tries we've got.
That's it. We've recovered well, and the recovery is just as good as a smashing start, really. Did you enjoy that try from Marlon Yard?
Yeah, that was a great try.
That was pretty good, wasn't it? Yeah, we ought to hopefully we'll get to see more of those things, because he wants to be back in that England squad, I'm sure, and he'll work hard for it.
He definitely deserves to be in that squad, I think.
He's worked really hard for it.
Yeah, him and Ben Curry should have been called up.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. Guys, good. I'll try and catch up with you later on. Watch out for them, Lee, will you? It'll cost me a fortune. Go see how we doing, all right? Just squeeze through here. Let's see who we got over here. How you doing? You all right? Good stuff. Okay, Lee, come with me. Let's go up here. Let's follow these guys up. How you doing? You all right? Let's squeeze up. Let's have a chat. How we doing? You okay? Sorry to interrupt. How we doing? You all right? How big are your hands? Massive hands. Where are you from?
We're from Blackburn.
Blackburn. I live on the Grain Road. That's up near Blackburn. Yeah. It's tropical up here. Yeah.
It's absolutely glorious, isn't it? We're used to this.
2 degrees colder up in Blackburn.
Not that much, actually. Not that much.
Listen, what makes you come to the game? Why have you come to the game tonight? Any particular?
These boys are the under-11s from Blackburn.
Under-11s from Blackburn. Let's have a look at them.
We've got a lock there. We've got another half back. We've got a 10, Tom. You can tell with the flick, and we've got a tight head there in Spencer.
Have you got your boots with you? Have you got your boots? We're going to get you on in the second half if you got your boots with you. Do you know what I mean? So these look like under 18s. What are you doing? They're massive.
You think? Yeah. The heads are massive. Look at this. Look at that.
Oh, look at the size. That's a big head. Listen, are you enjoying it, guys?
Yeah.
Did you see that Marlon Yard try?
Better than I've ever seen.
Pretty special, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want to see another one of them in the second half?
Hell yeah.
So you got to shout aloud as you can. Marlon do it again in the second half when he comes out. Listen, how often do you get to the games?
Every home game we come. We love it.
Season ticket.
You got the season ticket. Yeah. So if you could tell people that are sat on their bums in the warm at home why they should be coming down.
What are you missing? Look at this fantastic weather, great crowd. Look at this, all personal treatment we get down here. Absolutely brilliant.
And also all these adults get all their beers ready.
Free beer, it's all free. All free this, we don't pay a penny.
I'm not endorsing it, but I'm not going to endorse it either. So, guys, thanks very much. I'll be looking out for you. Thank you. Good on you. Good to see you. Okay, good stuff. Got some more facts. Somebody on a really important phone call, so we won't disturb them. We won't get them to stop chatting. Let's have a look who we got. Let's go up here and have a chat. Oh, hello. How we doing? Sorry to interrupt. Hello. How we doing? Careful. No swearing. All right. I know you. That's going to be hard for him. Listen, what do we think so far?
Well, I think he's the one that's the most disappointing because he's
got a Leicester fan.
Yeah,
we'll come to you in a minute. Yeah, I'll give you a chance to. All right, okay. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah, very much indeed.
Took the chance as well.
Took the chance. Was it a bit too slow to get going, or are we okay with that?
We usually do a bit slow to get going, apart from the other time last week. But yeah.
What do you think that Marlon break?
Excellent. We'll do it more.
Is that coming from a Leicester fan as well? So go on, tell us. Thank you for coming.
He comes every week, but he's a Leicester fan.
Oh, so listen, right, a serious question. Okay, so you're a Leicester fan. So you're a Leicester fan, but you do come down as, yeah. So, as a non-biased Sale Sharks person, let's hear it from you. Do you like the AJ Bell? Do you like the atmosphere? Not today, obviously. But has you got a season ticket and everything? Do you enjoy coming to the games with these lot, or is it hard work?
Hard work.
It's very hard work. It's an interesting place to come to. It's always a great place to get out of as well. The rugby's definitely improved. Makes it better. When the rugby's dire, it's not a great place to be.
Do you go to the Sale Leicester game away? Do you take these lot with you?
No, they won't come.
Right, well, shame on you lot, firstly, for not going with him, right? Do you want them to go with you this time? When you go to the Leicester game away, are you going to take them with you this time?
I've tried several times, but they don't like.
We might go.
The difference is that at Leicester, being an old-fashioned rugby ground with tradition, and there's a standing section which is full at the side of the pitch, it tends to have it's a bit like going to Gloucester. There's a bit more atmosphere for it. The atmosphere's getting better here, but it needs to have more people behind the goal, really.
Well, this is it. I mean, this is why we're doing these kind of things and these kind of initiatives, because we meet people like yourselves who love it, who love the rugby, and it doesn't matter that you're a Leicester fan, it's fine, we still love you. Do you know what I mean? It's important, you know.
Scottish as well.
Oh, it's even better, you know what I mean? It's the gift that keeps on giving.
In the community, that's what we're
it's fine, do you know what I mean? I love it. But and the whole point is that, you know, where else are we going to be on a Friday night if we're not here, you know, or, you know, there's a lot.
Preempting that they're going to get to the final because we've gone and bought tickets for the final.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like the gambling's good, but I mean it's a sure bet. And come on, you know, we're going to top four. That's what we want.
You're going to laugh at them.
We're going to have to put a bet on for him or something. Do you know what I mean? We need to. Premiership Rugby Cup final. Come on, that's got to be a good thing. Are you coming to that?
Yeah.
So we're going to be hanging around with that as well. We're hoping to draw. And this is the whole point: is we want more people to come to these games. That's the point. You know, we're trying to fill this out. We're trying to say to them, look, it might be a little bit chilly, but come on, the atmosphere is great. Do you know what I mean? And we appreciate that you come and do all the hard work that you do with your Care in the Community programme that you take care of. Do you know what I mean? Listen, thank you very much. I'll shake your hands. Well done. Good. Keep cheering, keep cheering, keep shouting loud. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. It's great to see you, lads, and we'll see you again soon. Cool. Okay, we're going to have a little bit of a break with this rowdy bunch here. But remember, comments below, keep us chatting. Just going to cut to a little holding VT now, and we'll speak to you a little bit later. Get my teeth back in.
Our game is about protection for businesses and communities, helping the people who guide and nurture, who inspire and support, who commit and deliver, helping to protect all those in our community who are just like us and who deserve the best. This is the Gallagher way.
Oh, I'm back. Look who I found. No, but Joe. How's it going?
Fantastic evening. Fantastic.
Listen, we went and had a little visit with Joe to Worcester away. That was incredible.
Incredible journey.
It was great. The game wasn't brilliant, but still, the result for us.
Lovely day out. Fantastic day out. Well filmed and good promotion for the supporters club.
And this is what we say about this place. We love Sale Sharks. We love the family atmosphere. We love the rugby, regardless of how it's being played.
Correct.
You know, and tell us, there's people that didn't quite make it today that might be watching at home on Facebook and YouTube, Twitter. Why should they be coming down to the games, Joe?
For a game like Leicester, it's a must. It's a season must. It's a game that everybody wants to come and attend. We all look forward to it on the fixture list. The team's playing well enough, not totally consistent, but when you come and watch what we're playing tonight, they turn the conditions around into our favour. Second half, we could put another 30 points on them. Excellent night out.
Absolutely brilliant. That mile and yard break was great, yeah?
Oh, superb. And that was his second one. First one he got caught, second one, marvellous.
Oh no, it's just incredible. We absolutely love it. Listen, Joe, they're coming out, so I've got to go. They're shouting me back in.
Care,
mate, it's great to see you up and about, mate. That's great. We'd love to see you. We'll catch up again soon, all right? Good man. Right, that's us now. Going to hand you back over there to Chris and Josh Beaumont. Any questions you got for them, get on the socials, man. It's all about the socials. Comments below, above, below, wherever they are. Hand you over to the team of Chris and Josh.
Thank you very much indeed, Colin. It is indeed all about the socials as Sale come out for this second half. The rain continues to fall here at the AJ Bell Stadium. Half-time change for Sale. Ross Harrison is on for Cooney Oosthuizen. Oosthuizen's had trouble with his neck through the week in training, so Ross Harrison is on as an immediate half-time sub. He's there in his white headband, middle of the pitch. Josh Beaumont is alongside me once again. Josh, what will that change mean in the front row?
Not a great deal, I don't think. Obviously, Cooney, probably shame for him to come off. He just scored a try and the scrum was going well, but Ross Harrison has played 200 odd Premiership games, so a wealth of experience to bring on there. And I actually had the pleasure of just walking across the pitch to do a commercial duty, and I didn't realise how bad that weather was out there. It was the wind is blowing directly down the pitch in Sale's favour now, so I'm sure we'll see them, as I said at the end of the first half, utilise that and just kick the corner, especially as it's lashing down with rain as well. So an interesting second half for Leicester anyway, because they've got to play themselves back into this game.
It's an old school night for rugby union for sure. As Josh says, we can see in the floodlights the rain coming down and the wind blowing in Sale's favour. 17 points to 3 then, the Sharks lead. 3 tries already in the bank, so a bonus point within range for Steve Diamond's side. We will give you a recap of the teams when we get an opportunity early in this half, but the key halftime news is Ross Harrison on for Cooney Oosthuizen. And for those of you who follow team lineups in advance of match days through social media or however you find out, you might have been surprised to hear me talking about Denny Solomona in the first half. It was, of course, Chris Ashton who was billed to be wearing 14 tonight, but a calf strain kept Ashton out, and so a late change from Sale to put Denny Solomona on the wing, a more than capable replacement, which brings Aaron Reid onto the bench. He hasn't had much opportunity this season with Sale with a surfeit of great wingers, but Aaron Reid gets his chance on the bench. He might yet get some game time. We'll see how that goes. As scrappy play in the middle of the park in the second half, Sale not managing to get a decent ball from Will Cliff, fumble, and Leicester try and take advantage, but it's blue possession once again on halfway. Ian Tempest happy to let play go on as Will Cliff waits at the bottom of this ruck. Ross Harrison gives him that protection at the base and Cliff waits. Left-footed box kick goes up into the night sky over the head of winger Jordan Olowafela, and he rather misjudges, but now Leicester can bring it out. It's a decent half break from Noel Reid, but we're still inside Leicester's 22. All in red tonight, the men from Welford Road. Jordan Murphy's side improving, but still second bottom, only Saracens beneath them in the Gallagher Premiership table. And Sale with every opportunity, with a decent lead and the elements in their favour to secure 5 points tonight and get themselves moving again after returning with nothing from Alliance Park last weekend. As for the second time tonight, Bryn Evans becomes a nightmare in the face of young scrum half Jack Van Portfleet, charging down that kick. This time, though, Van Portfleet doesn't cost his side a try. It will, though, be a Leicester line-out just inside their 22 as the rain teams down. It seems to be getting heavier. Josh.
I was just about to say, it's good to see Van Portfleet get some protection there, but it still didn't manage to stop Bryn Evans squeezing through and charging down. And as you said, I didn't think this rain could get heavier, but it just has. And fair play to Leicester, they've just thrown it to the tail of the line-out, which is, quite a ambitious call, and it's worked for them. But they're just getting their driving maul going now. And something that we didn't see them do in the first half, get any opportunity to use their maul, and they're making good progress with it now. And it looks like it's just been dragged to the ground. No sign of a penalty from Ian Tempest, and Leicester will have to, they'll have to play out of here because kicking's going to be so difficult in this second half. And to box into this 22 now and Sale really get the line speed and drive Leicester back 10 metres there just in one phase.
Tigers struggling, as Josh says, to get any traction, hemmed into their 22 with the elements in their faces as the wonderful waft of freshly cooked chips comes across the night air in front of Josh and I here at the AJ Bell. It's certainly a night for fans to get the chips and hot chocolate in as Leicester managed to clear up to the 10-metre line. Decent kick in the end from Johnny McPhillips, their replacement fly half. It'll be a line out with a Sale throw just on the Leicester 10-metre.
I've just heard Steve Diamond there saying let's get a nice old-fashioned maul penalty going, so we'll see if the forward pack can deliver that for him. I think it'll be, they're just going to try and keep it tight. Obviously they want, just to say that the line out's gone astray, but Sale had managed to reclaim it back as it went loose at the tail of the line out and to build the phases again. A great strong carry there by John O'Ross. Moves it beyond the Sale 10-metre line. Luke James now takes up, stops in his tracks. And we're looking at Wilcliffe here. Rob Dupree looking to move it to the edge. And Marlon Yard now breaks down the wing.
Yard, it runs into the tackle of Talusa Viainu. Viainu with a decent hit on Yard, but Sale win the penalty. Yard has taken a bit of an impact there from Vianu's strong tackle, the Tongan bringing him down. But the infringement coming from the resultant situation. It was actually, I think, given for a high tackle because it was Noel Reid coming across. Yard was cutting inside from the left wing. Decent tackle from Vianu, but Reid coming on the cover took Yard very high. And Yard was clearly in a fair bit of discomfort as that tackle came in above the shoulder. How did you see that, Josh? Lucky
yeah,
not
I
to get a
don't
yellow?
think it looked worse at the time in real time play. It's probably on the very borderline of a yellow card here. So Marlon Yard just received some treatment on the floor. But yeah, just as he kind of dipped, I think he'll be helped out by the mitigating circumstances that he was being tackled and heading towards the deck. But still, I'd say more clumsy there by Noel Reid. He wasn't really looking at where Marlon Yard was running and cutting in, and his eyes weren't on the player at all. So maybe Ian Tempest will take that into consideration because it was slightly clumsy, and he didn't really make an effort to wrap the arms too much. So I'd say maybe a yellow card coming here for Noel Reid.
Yeah, it's borderline, as you said. I think that would be a little bit harsh on Reid because I think what happened was he perhaps wasn't anticipating Viainu to actually put in such a good tackle because Viainu brought Yard to his knees, which meant Reid was suddenly a lot higher on Yard than he might have been if the tackle had only been maybe a half tackle or a tackle not made at all. So, yeah, at the point of impact, which we're just looking at on the TV monitor now, Reid's not even really looking at Yard. Definitely a Sale penalty, and that's been given. Any more than that, Ian Tempest is in conversation with Trevor Fisher now, the TMO. And it looks like Tempest has had the feedback. He's now running back to give his decision.
One of my bugbears here at the AJ Bell Stadium is the fact that we've only got one screen and the referee will have to run to that corner from anywhere on the pitch. It just slows the game up, but as he just calls Noel Reid and Dan Cole in to speak to him now, he's not reaching for any cards. It just looks like a bit of a, oh no, as I say that, he's reached for his card. It's a yellow card to Noel Reid. So, the tackle framework that's brought in, the referee will be ticking the boxes or crossing it off, and it's the framework that's probably cost him a yellow card there.
Well, in the first half, we saw how Dan Cole's yellow very much undermined the Leicester defensive effort. Now with Noel Reid going off once more, Sale will have the man advantage for a 10-minute period, and from the resulting penalty, Rob Dupree electing not to go for the posts. Got the wind in his favour, but the swirling nature of it making a kick from 5 yards inside the left touchline perhaps a little bit too much of a lottery. So going down the line, and of course Rob Webber can then throw from the resultant line out. It's very messy though, and Webber gets poor quality ball which he then knocks on. Knock-ons going both ways. The first knock-on though, the referee saying coming off a Leicester hand as the attempted catch from Bryn Evans was disrupted. And it will be a Sale scrummage, 15 yards in from touch, left-hand side, in a very decent position here for Sale, around about 10 metres out from the Leicester line.
Yeah, it's good pressure there by Harry Wells, who's just come onto the pitch to replace Tommy Raphael. Raphael actually probably one of the better Leicester players in that first half. A couple of 2 or 3 crucial turnovers where he's come off. I'm not sure if that's an injury or not, but Harry Wells, immediate impact on the pitch there. He managed to get up at the front of the line out and put enough pressure on, but just knocked the ball on, unfortunately. And Sale have an attacking scrum now, about 10-15 metres out, and as it's just reset now for me in Tempest, and it looks like Harry Wells has slotted in at number 8 maybe, which is a position I don't think I've ever seen him play before. I've seen him play at 6 and second row, but 8's a new position for him, I imagine. So whether that's a tactical decision to bring him on and add a bit more height to disrupt the Sale line out, which has been pretty imperious tonight. Actually, Bryn Evans has run that fantastically well in tough conditions, and Rob Webber's throwing has been, bar that last one, pretty much on the mark all half.
Yeah, that's led to Fijian Boladow going to number 6, but a free kick coming Sale's way as that scrum once again fails to yield a successful conclusion. Sale, though, electing to take the scrum again. I wonder, Josh, whether partly here the thinking is to put Bollardow at blindside flanker to defend this particular attack, because it does put him in prime defensive position if Dan du Preez elects to pick and go from 8.
Yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah, I'd say that's definitely attacked, even though, yeah, I thought they might have put Liebenberg to that open side, but they've left him on the blind side. So actually, I'd say a pretty good opportunity here. I can see Dan du Preez, the backs don't look like they're going to get it, so I can see him picking, going as he feeds Will Cliff now.
Cliff's ball out is loose and du Preez fumbles it, but Ian Tempest had already given the penalty for an infringement at the scrum. Not driving straight, that one appeared to go against Greg Bateman on the loose head for Leicester, so it's another Sale penalty. Luke James standing over this one, 10 metres out, and Rob du Preez elects to jog forward as he has done umpteen times tonight so far. Kicks the ball into touch, electing to just give Rob Webber the opportunity from a 5-metre line out to try and turn a line out win into a driving maul and potentially 5 more points. Let's see if Sale can execute on this occasion. Leicester, of course, down to 14 in the absence of Noel Reid. Here's Webber's throw. Evans with a clean catch. Classic maul, classic bind. Webber at the back of the maul, number 2 on his blue shirt, looks to try and turn and spin off the bulk of the red defenders, but once more the Leicester defence excellent from these mauls. They really have defended them well tonight, and once more the Leicester Tigers defence is solid. They win a scrum, and Sale again fail from a maul to take full advantage.
Yeah, you can see Will Cliff probably just identified that Rob Webber was going to get caught in there and tried to call him out to attack actually a 2-on-1 opportunity down the blind side, which would have seen Will Cliff go in unopposed in the corner. But yeah, Leicester again defend that drive more really well. I was going to see how interesting it was to see what Sale were going to change at half time, because that's probably the one disappointment, was the fact that they hadn't converted any driving more try. And you know, to all credit to Leicester, they're defending that fantastically well. They're a physical outfit, they get in early, and you know, they've probably just been more dominant in that area. So I'd say that's a major positive for Leicester tonight, is that driving more defence.
That's the thoughts from Josh Beaumont, the Sale Sharks second row, injured of course for the rest of this season, as Will Griff-John comes on wearing number 18. Jake Cooper-Woolley makes way. We'll see what stability John can bring to the front rows. The scrum really has been a bit of a mess most of the time tonight at the AJ Bell. If you're just joining us on Sharks Live, it's Sale Sharks 19, Leicester Tigers 3. We're 10 minutes into the second period on a wet and windy night in Manchester. First half tries from Bryn Evans, Marlon Yard and Cooney Oosthuizen. The difference between the sides, and Sale, with the elements in their favour, will fancy their chances of securing the victory tonight and potentially picking up a try bonus point. But it's Leicester in possession, admittedly retreating from that scrum as they try and clear their lines. Not an easy job tonight for Johnny McPhillips, their substitute fly half, or for young scrum half Van Portvliet, into the howling wind and rain. And Van Portvliet does actually make a decent clearance and a bit of yardage, taking his team around about 10 metres or so beyond their 22, where it'll be a Sale Sharks line out.
Yeah, much better kick that from Van Portvliet. He actually had a couple of men blocking him there, and Bryn Evans decided actually not to go for the charge down. That'll be a good confidence booster for the young 9. It's been a pretty tricky debut for him so far in testing conditions, but you know, hopefully he's going to keep performing like that for the rest of the half for Leicester.
Here goes Will Cliff, spots the gap, it goes Cliff, great burst from the scrum half, can he go all the way? Brought down inside the Leicester 22, but Sale now have the opportunity from broken play. Ian Tempest's arm is extended. Leicester secure the turnover. Once more, Sale not able to take full advantage. They've had a number of opportunities tonight. They've taken 3 of them, but they've had countless more. And the wet conditions not aiding ball retention at all, as Van Portvliet thumps that one clear into the Printerland stand. But I think we're going to come back. Ian Tempest had his arm extended a little while ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was again a great break from Will Cliff. He spotted the gap there in the Leicester defence, and Rob Dupree kind of is quite unsympathetic pass he gave to his brother inside and looked pretty forward as well. So I think he had men over on that outside, so it would have been nice to see Sale at least get to the edge and take up the metres there, but he's gone inside, and now Leicester have a scrum, and it's just showing they've been camped down in their 22 for the last 5 minutes. It's an extremely hard place to exit into this driving wind and rain here at the AJ Bell Stadium, and I think Sale, from a Sale point of view, just need to not get as frustrated, looking to get that try-scoring bonus point, but there's still 28 minutes left, and as Ian Tempest just towards the penalty here before the ball even got put into that scrum. I'm not sure what that was for, potentially a pre-bind. He's looking at Greg Bateman on the loose head side there for Leicester, and I think Sale, it'd be interesting what they go, whether they build on the score or they go for the corner here. I think there's a consultation going now with Rob Dupree and John Ross, and have decided to take the points.
Well, that's the fourth time Leicester have been penalised at the scrum. Sale twice, so overall in the game so far, Sale having the better of it in the tight. And as we wait for Rob Dupree to attempt this penalty attempt at goal, good to hear from Steve O'Ford through the social media channels, who says, let's keep up that momentum now, come on Sharks. And also Mike Chidgey, who says that 19-3 at half-time into a very strong win. What will the second half bring? One more try for the bonus point. That's absolutely right, Mike. And if Rob Dupree is able to kick this penalty, it'll be the first point of the second period. Sale 19, Leicester Tigers 3. We have played 53 minutes at the AJ Bell, and this will further solidify the Sale lead. 19 points to 3 at the moment. This to take Sale into the 20s. Once more, Sam James holds the ball still. This kick inside the 22, just right of the uprights. Rob Dupree should fancy his chances here. It looks a decent connection, and up go the flags of the assistant referees. It's Sale Sharks 22, Leicester Tigers 3.
Yeah, Rob Dupree looks like he's found his kicking groove now. Although he struck the first one well in the first half, just held up short, but that was a nice solid kick to extend the lead. I think probably the right decision. They've still got 26 minutes left, and to go to the post just to keep building on that lead and forcing Leicester to play even more to try and get back in this game. So Leicester now just setting up for the restart, and it'll be a tricky one to take into this win. It's always tough for the pods who are trying to catch as he sends it up high, and it's coming back now near towards the 10-metre line. But Sale managed to win the scraps there on the floor. Rob Webber doing great work as it's spilled by the Leicester player. And Will Cliff now fed Rob Dupree is going to send a booming kick down the pitch, which Viano has managed to field on the full and is now coming back up, and he's attacking the short side. Leicester made some good meters there before sending the kick through, and Will Cliff is fumbling and under pressure now just at the Sale 22. And they'll be looking to make a clean exit here. They've got no scrum half, so Bryn Evans steps in, feeds Walgriff John, and knowing Sale now, they'll look to set up a box kick and put the pressure back onto the Leicester Tigers.
Cliff back into the scrum half position, not something that Bryn Evans tends to turn his hand to too often, and Cliff clears upfield as we move past 55 minutes here at the AJ Bell, as Leicester try and deal with more Sale pressure just inside their own half, and Jordan Murphy's side struggling at the moment to really get back into this game. Sale looking very good for the victory tonight, but still 25 minutes to go, so the game not won yet, as Sam James tries to claim that ball out of the sky. An attempted chip over from McPhillips gets him in trouble, and Ian Tempest letting play go on eventually decides he's seen enough and pulls the players back for an earlier knock-on. It's going to be a Leicester Tigers put in. Josh, let me just get your thoughts on the Six Nations this weekend. Italy, Scotland, Wales, France and England, Ireland. Who are your three winners?
I'm going to go for, I think Scotland will win out in Rome. I think they look pretty good in their first game against Ireland, and obviously the conditions played a huge part in that defeat against England. I'm going to go for a France win. I think 2 away wins in those first 2 games. I think France, I'm not sure if they're going to put the roof on at the Millennium, but they'll like to go out there and express themselves, and Wales will probably want to do the same, so that should be a cracker. And then I'm going to go for an England win at Twickenham on Sunday.
Tight win for England, or do you think they'll win by the
it'll
distance?
be a tight win, yeah. Ireland obviously got the confidence coming into that game, and it's going to be a tight affair, I think.
So if you want to go for the Beaumont ACCA, that gives you Scotland, France and England on your coupon. Good luck. 22-3 then, back at the AJ Bell as Van Poortvliet pops it short to substitute Harry Wells on in the Leicester back row. Regular starter for the Tigers last season, one of their more experienced campaigners as Leicester move again through McPhillips to Kyle Eastman. Eastman has been quiet in this game so far, no real opportunity to see his attacking flair. Leicester haven't really threatened the Sale line at any point so far, and yet another knock-on, this time going against the Sale Sharks. It's going to be a Leicester Tigers scrummage on the 10-metre line as an attempted intercept by Denny Solomona fails.
Yeah, I think Denny Solomona would be quite disappointed on, actually. He read the Eastman pass quite well. Kyle Eastman was looking to cut out two players with a real strong fizzing pass towards the wing, quite a flat pass. Looks like the motivation is probably not quite there for away games.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at the Saracen side tonight. Alex Good's playing, Brad Barrett's playing, Vincent Cox playing, Jack Singleton, Nick Ezekwe, Jackson Ray. It's a half-decent Sarries outfit despite all their absentees from Six Nations duty. So Wasps making a statement to new coach Lee Blackett. Is that a bit of player power in there, do you think, Josh?
Lee Blackett, did I ever play him, did he say?
No, is it a bit of player power, do you think?
Sorry,
change the coach and within a couple of days suddenly the team find their best performance of the season?
You often see that in football, don't you? A new manager takes over and then it's like the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer effect. He came in and won his first games in first 3 months of games, and we'll see how Wasps. It's hard to tell first up, but maybe a bit of a different approach, a breath of fresh air maybe for the Wasp squad. So
did that news surprise you this week, Josh, that Dai Young was stepping away?
Well, I'd heard murmurs that it wasn't kind of all going too well and a bit of disgruntlement in that Wasp camp. So I suppose the timing maybe did, but with Saracens going down, I think there's no threat of relegation for Wasps. So why not make the change now? It gives Lee Blackett or whoever comes in some time now, a good amount of time, looking at the season and a half rather than starting in pre-season. So obviously it looks like it's worked tonight.
Well, it is so open, Josh, isn't it? I mean, look tonight, Leicester second bottom, only 10 points behind Sale, who are in third, which is 2 bonus point wins. There are so many teams who will still now look at that table and think, well, there's still 12 games to play, including this round. We could still make the top 4, and we know, as you say, there's no chance of relegation, so we can chance our arm, perhaps play a bit more expansively. Anyone's still potentially in that top 4, aren't they?
Absolutely, and it's shown with London Irish. They picked up 2 wins on the bounce, and the way they played in the rain at Harlequins last week, they were offloading. They were ambitious in the way they played, and Wasps have probably shown the same tonight. And it might just show a different perspective of the league, and to see maybe what the league would be like if it was ring fenced, because that's essentially what it is this year with Saracens going down so early. There's no threat of relegation, so teams. There's not that pressure. There's not that, especially in conditions, in the winter conditions, where almost teams go into a mindset of let's tighten it up and let's not let's take the risk out of all our play. Where sides now can potentially go, what, if we lose, then at least we're going to lose trying to play some rugby. And it's although we probably haven't seen that from these two sides tonight. I think Sale have obviously been dominant as a game. The game at the moment's just kind of turned into a bit of a stop-start contest again for the last 5 minutes.
Well, it's a free kick to the Leicester Tigers. Just under 20 minutes to go. Here on Sharks Live, I'm Chris Malaband, alongside me Josh Beaumont. Don't forget you can interact with us throughout the game tonight. So if you want to put your questions to Josh, you've got about 19 and a half minutes to do so. If you put hashtag Sharks Live next to your comment, either in YouTube or Facebook or through Twitter, then we'll try and get those answered by Josh before the end of the game. Leicester in possession. Substitute scrum half Harry Simmons gives that pass. He then goes to the base of the ruck, pops it up short. And driven in by Joe Batley. Leicester possession once more. Hanro Liebenberg, the former South African under-20s captain, drives forward, and this is really Leicester's best hope of making some yardage, keeping it tight, popping the passes short, making a couple of yards at a time. Now they go a bit more expansive, and Eastman tries a miss pass to bring in Vianu wide on the left. Leicester up to the Sale 10-metre line, about as far forward as they've been in this second half. 22-3 Jordan Murphy side trail. Loose pass in midfield picked up by Batley, the substitute back rower. Leicester, though, managing to recycle and retain possession through Eastman on halfway. Rain continues to come in, pushed hard by the wind from right to left. The elements in Sale's favour in this second half as they look to shut this game out and potentially go on and pick up a bonus point in victory. But they've got to fight for the ball at the moment as McPhillips in the midfield looks to get away the diminutive Kyle Eastman, born in Manchester, of course. Back in his old stomping ground tonight, the former St Helens Rugby League scrum half. 30 years old now, Kyle Eastman. Been around a little while since he switched codes back in 2011 when he signed for Bath. Here's Vianu launching that ball upfield. Time under that for Rob Dupree. He finds Hammersley, rock solid as ever at fullback. He launches that ball downfield, Simon Hammersley, and a really, really good kick from the man from Hull. He sends Leicester right back where they started. And Josh, this must be where it's really dispiriting, particularly if you're a member of the Leicester pack. You work hard, go through phase after phase, keep it tight, try and get yourselves upfield. Then as soon as you make a mistake, a fullback sends you back 60 metres.
Yeah, and especially in these conditions. You know, Leicester, they did have an opportunity down that left-hand side where I think McPhillips was calling for it, he got it and sent out back to Eastman, who, and when he got to the edge, he looked quite dangerous. But as soon as that ball slows up at a breakdown, just allows the Sale defence to get set, and then they just drove Leicester back with, in the space about 5 phases, about 40 metres there, and then forced Vianu to kick quite loosely to Hammersley at the back, who just punted it, found a space in the corner, and then, you know, the 20 metres out from their own line again. It's a difficult place to get out of.
Jake Kerr, the substitute hooker, on for Tatufu Polatanau, secures a decent line out for his side. Scottish international, who studied at Loughborough University, which Josh was telling us about earlier this evening. I've been helping Marlon Yard of late to get back to his optimal sprinting speed. Kerr having read economics in the Midlands, and McPhillips managed to get a little bit of a yardage gain here, but it's going to be a Sale throw. The difficulty the Tigers have in clearing their lines is all about the wind and the rain. Every time they try and get any distance on the ball, back it comes, which means Rob Webber can throw from just outside the Leicester 22. Sale needing one more try for the bonus point. They've got 16 minutes to try and do it. Short throw to the front is secured by Jean-Luc Dupree, who's become a regular in the second row this season with the injury to the man to my right, Josh Beaumont, and Luke Diaga also out of action. Should see Diaga for London Irish, but as yet to pull on the Sale jersey as Marlon Yard claims a kick, and Simon Hammersley then chips it forward to retain interest for Sale. Pressure from Hammersley on his opposite number, Vianu, who with a, well, I'm not sure whether that was intended or not, but in the end he managed to scuff that ball away up to the 22, and that's going to give Sale a throw on the 22-metre line as they continue to put territorial pressure on the visitors.
Yeah, very nice interchange there by Marlon Yard and Simon Hammersley, and Olafueya just, I think his heart would have been in his mouth there for a second as it skidded off his boot, but actually he'll definitely take that as it kind of trickles into the 22, and Sale have another prime opportunity. They got turned over at the last line out more, so I'm not sure whether they'll go back to that more, as Leicester have been defending it brilliantly all night, so maybe we'll see a bust out play or let the backs have a go here, but obviously in difficult conditions they'll want to keep it tight here, the Sharks, but they're not really getting much from it. It's been a bit of a disappointment tonight.
Dan Cole has played his last rugby of the night. Joe Hayes is on as his permanent replacement. The England under-20s man who was a fine footballer in his youth, Joe Hayes on Nottingham Forest's academy as a goalkeeper. Isn't it annoying, Josh, these guys who can just turn their hand to anything?
I know, well, he must have stopped growing to be a goalkeeper quite early on. Probably
fair point.
Probably seen they get paid pretty well, tight head, so he's in a good position where, you know.
Is that how it works? The different positions command different salary scales?
They do. Tight head's the most lucrative position in world rugby.
It must be, yeah.
As we've seen tonight, if you've got a dominant scrum, then it goes a long way to winning games. So you know, obviously varies on the market and on what different clubs need, but yeah, tight head's always well paid.
Sale get a chance to get away now with Rob Dupree, but once more the last pass evades the Sale back line, but Ian Tempest coming back to give a penalty for offside, and Dupree's failed pass in the end doesn't matter too much. It's going to be another Sale penalty, 13 minutes to play.
We don't. I'm not sure we've got access to the stats, but the penalty count now in Sale's favour must be huge. And from the first half and the second half, there must be close to 20 penalties. I reckon it's you know, it's now with 13 minutes left to play. Sale's still not got that lucrative bonus point try, so it'll be almost now or never kind of to get. There won't be many better opportunities than 5 metres out from the Leicester line.
Well, Ross Harrison has been very busy since coming on in trying to organise the line out, giving instructions there to Rob Webber as James Phillips comes off the bench, something he's done many times this season for the Sale Sharks, and it's going to be an opportunity for John O'Ross, the skipper, to rest his limbs. Don't often see the skipper withdrawn inside the 80. He gets rich applause from the home fans. He claps them back. And James Phillips into the fray, which will see Jean-Luc Dupree go into the back row. Bryn Evans claims the line out. Here goes Wilson. Good pop pass to Luke James. Sale desperate, as Josh Beaumont says, for this fourth try to trigger the bonus point. Harrison does well to ensure possession's not lost. Sale 5 metres out. Dupree, Daniel version, drives in. Yard tries to help for a moment, but Cliff is there over this ball. Short pass from Cliff, driven forward by Will Griff-John. Sale struggling to get yardage, but taking energy out of the legs of the Leicester tacklers with every drive, you'd think, as Cliff pops it short. Driven in once more by Rob Webber. Cliff to Rob Dupree, has Marlon Yard. Marlon Yard has picked a great line. He's in again. And there is the bonus point try. There is the second try of the night for Marlon Yard. And boy, has he benefited from that time at Loughborough. Yard is back. Sale are heading for 5 points. Sale Sharks 27, Leicester Tigers 3.
It was another fantastic bit to play by Marlon Yard, and actually credit must go to Rob Dupree because he came back blind. It was actually a 3-and-3, and I didn't think much was on there, but the way Rob Dupree really took it to the line, he enticed the defender who was on Marlon Yard just to bite in slightly, and Yard takes the outside shoulder, and it was a fantastic finish. And yeah, great play again by Sale, good patience, and you know, probably shows that, you know, they were right not to go for that driving maul, because that line out 5 metres, they ran a move, another pop down move, and busted out, and it was you know, some good impact from the substitutions. I think Ross Harrison tied it up nicely, and James Phillips with a couple of crucial carries there, and it's bonus point time now for the Sharks.
Rob Dupree then, bit of a kick to nothing now from the left touch line. He's judged that to perfection. Dupree reading the wind beautifully, started the kick right, it swelled in on the wind, and with Sam James' assistant holding the top of the ball, Rob Dupree has really found a formula to combat the elements. It's Sale Sharks 29, Leicester 3, 10 minutes to go. The Sharks are heading for the win.
I said he was in his groove, and that was you know, he's a keen golfer, Rob Dupree, and that was a beautiful draw, I'd say, from the outside. It was you know, you can tell he's playing with confidence with the way he set up Marlon Yard for that try there. Sam James cleanly takes his kick off and feeds off to Daniel Dupree, who charged up the middle of the pitch. And I think you will see Sale now really almost let the shackles off a bit and pin Leicester back and go for another try here.
Sale in total command here at the AJ Bell as Robert Webber takes 10-minute breather. Curtis Langdon gets his opportunity off the bench. Now Aka van der Merwe in the squad tonight after he turned an ankle at Saracens. So Curtis Langdon, the man who hails from Weston-super-Mare in Somerset, gets 10 minutes at the end of this one. Matt Postlethwaite also gets a bit of game time too. He's on for Bryn Evans, who's been commanding in the line-out, and also the scorer who finally gave Sale the breakthrough after a frustrating first half hour tonight. It's been all Sale ever since Bryn Evans scored that try. 29-3 then on Sharks Live. Chris Malaband and Josh Beaumont with you at the AJ Bell. Keep your comments and reactions coming in through the social media channels, and feel free to ask us any questions as well, with 10 minutes to play in this one. A bit of juggling as neither side's able to hang on to a ball bobbling mid-pitch, and Leicester tidy up possession just inside their 10-metre line. It's going to be a forlorn evening in the north for a much depleted Leicester side tonight, who battled gamely for the first half hour, but since then have really been overpowered as Sale look to top up their points difference now in the remaining 9 minutes or so. James Phillips, an unlikely scrum half, digs that one out. And now there's an opportunity for Postlethwaite, who finds Sam James. Is this Marlon Yard on for a hat-trick? Here goes Yard! It's a hat-trick! Marlon Yard! What a night for him! Beautiful kick through from Sam James, and Marlon Yard wins the foot race to the line. A special night for Marlon Yard. It's becoming a great night for the Sale Sharks. Home side 34, a depleted Tigers 3.
I just said you might see Sale start playing a bit more freely now, and a fantastic try there. Turnover ball. I'm really beginning to question some of the Leicester tactics here. I'm not sure we've got many listeners listening in who are Tigers fans, but they're going for kind of crossfield bomb kicks into a howling gale, and it's just that lack of game management which has really cost Leicester in this game. And Sale pounced on a turnover ball, and Curtis Langdon immediate impact managed to feed Sam James, who put in a beautiful kick down that touchline, and Marlon Yard in for his hat-trick. And it's all those hard hours of rehab, 12 months, almost career-threatening injury. Not many people thought he'd make it back, and to see him get a hat-trick and what would be a man-of-the-match performance, I imagine, it's fantastic for not just for Sale fans, but for all England rugby fans to see him back in form.
Rob du Preez has the chance to once again play the draw shot that Josh Beaumont mentioned a few moments ago. It's exactly the same location. Here goes the draw. He started it a bit more centrally, but it's good enough. And once more, Sam James, the ultimate team man, does the magic, holding the top of the ball. It's caused no problems for the Sale Shark kicker. He has been absolutely solid tonight, and du Preez claps his hands above his head as he comes off. Tom Curtis gets the opportunity of the last 8 minutes. Rob du Preez's night's done. It's Leicester Tigers 3, Sale Sharks 36. We've got 7 minutes to play.
Yeah, he's controlled it well with halfbacks for Sale. Actually, Will Cliff, Rob du Preez have just come off. And it's nice to see two youngsters come on. Got Tom Curtis and Gus Ward come on now, and although they've only got 7 minutes, hopefully they'll make the most of this time, because they're two good talents coming through from the Sale Sharks Academy, and in tough conditions, hopefully they'll control that as Simon Hammersley takes another brilliant kick. He's been absolutely solid for the Sharks tonight in that area in tricky conditions.
Gus Ward pops that short. James Phillips controls. Just take us virtually, Josh, into the Sale dressing room tonight. Marlon Yard, having scored a hat-trick, is he a kind of dance around the dressing room guy? Is he a put my music on the CD player kind of guy, or iPod, or whatever you guys have? Or is he a sit quietly in the corner and just absorb it?
I really don't know, actually. He's usually pretty quiet after the game, but after a hat-trick, he might have his spring in his step now, a bit of confidence. He always likes to take control of the music in the gym. So
does he?
Yeah, the backs and the forwards gym separately, and the forwards playlist is very much different to the backs. So maybe we'll let him there. Usually James Phillips has hold of the music, and it's usually a bit of Fleetwood Mac and the old school stuff coming on.
A bit of Fleetwood Mac?
The old school Elton John.
Good, seriously?
Oh yeah, the old school stuff. It's stuck in the corners, in the forwards corner, the speaker. But Marlon Yard might get his playlist on tonight.
I am genuinely astounded that you'd have Elton John playing in a 2020 dressing room. I'm pleased, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's the kind of thing I listen to, but I'm still surprised.
Oh yeah, no, there's we're more cultured as forwards. We're more rounded in our
like fine wines as opposed to lager, eh?
Yeah. So no, I think the forwards are usually a bit more tired after the games. So we just like to sit back and there'll be a few beers going around the change room tonight. A great win, a 5-point win in tough conditions, and Leicester will be very disappointed with tonight. They've just really not adapted to the conditions and made too many errors, and the discipline has been poor.
The challenge, Josh, of course, will now be to go to Kingsholm next Friday night and try and repeat this performance, because going down there, it is a bear pit, particularly under lights. It'll be a real test for the squad, won't it, to show how serious they can be as challengers to the really top sides to go and get a result away, the like of which you got at Exeter, of course.
Yeah, exactly, and we're hoping to back up that Exeter performance away at Saracens and really let ourselves down, so hopefully we'll see a much better performance. We won there last year, and we probably owed them one from the start of the season, because it was a game we really should have won at home.
Absolutely.
It'll be a tough game down at Kingsholm, a fantastic place to play your rugby at, and hopefully they'll take confidence from this performance today.
Well, the Sharks, of course, are back in action here in a fortnight. London Irish, the visitors, another Friday night game, so 3 successive Friday night matches for the Sale, and just a date for your diary, folks, on the May bank holiday this year, which switches to a Friday to celebrate 75 years of VE Day. Friday the 8th of May, which is a bank holiday this year, 3 p.m, Sale against Saracens. So that fixture was confirmed this week. So the kick-off times for Sale's matches confirmed right through to the end of season now. The way that the Gallagher Premiership works is it confirms kick-off times in batches, but they are now all confirmed right the way through to the denouement of the season, Worcester Warriors, on the 6th of June, Josh. I mean, goodness me. We'll be sitting here in shirt sleeves and shorts, and we still haven't even reached the playoffs at the end of it all.
Rob Webber just announced that as man of the match, not Marlon Yard. So
well, what do you have to do, eh?
I just missed that over the tannoy, sorry, Chris, before it was...
No, it's all right. Well, I was saying in the first half I thought Rob Webber had been the standout player, but when a guy scores a hat-trick, and particularly the quality of this hat-trick, I think if I was Marlon Yard, I'd be saying, can I have half that champagne, Rob, or whatever he's going to be given in the lounge?
It must have been a forward picking the man of the match then, you'd have thought.
That explains it. 2 minutes to go on Sharks Live. Great to have you with us tonight, and great to have Josh Beaumont alongside me, Chris Malaband, describing another Sale victory. It's 4 from 5 at home in the Gallagher Premiership this year. Just that defeat to Gloucester in the opening game here, which could have been a win, with Rob Dupree's last-minute kick just by an inch or two, failing to go over the post. But this has been a dominant Sale performance from the moment Bryn Evans scored the first of the night. That was in the 29th minute, as yet another penalty goes against a dispirited and rather overpowered Leicester pack. It's going to give Sale another opportunity here, and I'm sure Tom Curtis will kick this to the corner. Little to be achieved from going for goal from distance in howling wind when you are already 33 points to the good. 36-3 then the Sale Sharks lead as we move into the last 2 minutes of action. Stay with us on Sharks Live at full time. Colin McKevitt will be pitch side, and I'm sure we'll be trying to get one of the Sale players to give us some reflections, as well as talking to some of the crowd here tonight before we wrap another Sale Sharks live production for you. Please keep your feedback coming to us through the social channels, YouTube, Twitter and Facebook. It's certainly an exciting time to be a Sale fan, and this victory will just further solidify Sale's place in the upper echelons of the table, putting down a marker at the start of the round 11 weekend. We know Wasps have picked up 5 points tonight with a thumping of Saracens. Well, Sale are not too far behind them with this performance here, and with the Premiership Rugby Cup final to look forward to as well. Tickets still available, about 6,000 sold, but still another 5,000 available. Sunday, March the 15th. Get yourselves down here as Sale take on Harlequins. It's Marlon Yard again. He's looking for a fourth. Inside he goes to Sam James. 40 seconds left on the clock as Gus Waugh passes that out to Jean-Luc Dupree. Waugh burrows to dig this one out. It's now Wasps 60, Saracens 10, mauling at the Ricoh Stadium tonight. Waugh to Curtis. Now Luke James trying to get in on the act. To be fair to Leicester, their tackling has been brave and committed throughout, and they continue to try and prevent Sale from adding to this victory as the fans looking to beat the traffic start to move away from the AJ Bell. Rain still falling, wind still howling, Sale still winning. 5 metres short, perhaps their last attempt of the night as the clock goes into the red. The next time there's an infringement, Ian Tempest will call a halt to proceedings. Gus Ward digging this one out. Sale will want to sign off in style here. Hammersley up in the back line. Lovely handoff to Aaron Reid on as a late replacement, the winger. War digs it out. Short it goes to Jean-Luc Dupré. A lovely handoff to his brother Dan Dupré. Super work between the brothers. War. Short pass to the busy Ross Harrison. War again, 5 metres from the line. Curtis. Reid. Ball moved on by Hammersley. Sale working hard down the right touchline. Determined that they'll knock one last nail into the Leicester coffin before time is called by the referee. Advantage coming to Sale. Dan Dupré with James Phillips by his shoulder. War again. Curtis drops the ball, but we're going to come back for a penalty. This is painful for Leicester now, Josh, isn't it? I just want it to end.
They do, but to be fair to them, they're defending well. They're still putting the tackles in, and they're playing, defending with a very committed nature, which is good. But Sale actually playing some really nice stuff there in the 22. Some nice touches there from young Tom Curtis, put under a lot of pressure with line speed, and some nice touches to his young mate Aaron Reid coming onto the ball. So, Sale are playing with that confidence now, and I'm not sure what, I think they might tap and go here maybe, or will they just end the game? Who knows? I'd like to see them go for one more try maybe, but points difference can always be crucial towards the end of the season, so you never know.
Worth the go, isn't it, you'd think?
Yeah, lots of fresh bodies on, especially now the bench is being emptied, so I think the Sale bench made a very positive impact. The work was pretty much already done by the starters, but they've come on and really up the level as they've entered the pitch, so overall just reflecting on this game, I'd like to have said more positive things about both sides, but it's just been a one-sided affair tonight here, and it'll be a long trip back down to Leicester for the Tigers team.
Well, I noticed before the match with one of the bookmakers that Sale were 8-1 on to win this tonight, so clearly the bookies knew what was coming. They had faith in Sale. The supporters inside the AJ Bell had faith in Sale. And as that ball is kicked to touch to end the game, it's all over here at the AJ Bell. Sale Sharks 36, the Leicester Tigers 3. A comprehensive victory for Sale, who trailed by 3 points to nil after 29 minutes and were struggling for traction. But first half tries from Bryn Evans, Marlon Yard and Cooney Oosthuizen gave them a cushion of 19 points to 3 at the interval. Rob Dupré then consolidated the lead with a penalty after 53 minutes, and then 2 further tries from Marlon Yard, both converted by Dupré, gave Sale a solid margin by the end. A hat-trick for Yard, Rob Webber the man of the match. Josh Beaumont, your final thoughts?
Obviously slightly biased from a Sale point of view, but a great win at home, backing up disappointing defeat last week away at Saracens. I thought it was a pretty awful first half an hour of the game, to be honest, and both sides didn't play particularly well, but then once they got that charge down try, they got a bit of confidence. Sale really, I thought some players were quite nice rugby in the conditions. They were dominant at the scrum. Line-out more was particularly disappointing. That was one positive from Leicester. They defended that area very well, but it was great to see Marlon Yard get a hat-trick, I think, after everything he's been through. And Sale will be looking up the table now, sitting quite nicely. It's not even halfway through the Premiership, but they're in a good spot right now.
1-6, lost 5, 11 games gone. We're only at the halfway point in the Gallagher Premiership 29-20. Lots of rugby to be played, but Sale are a team with upward momentum for sure. Steve O'Ford says through social media he will look at getting a season ticket next season, definitely. Good man, Steve-O, and hopefully there's many more just like you. And another performance or two like that here at the AJ Bell from the Sale Sharks, I'm sure will persuade others to think the same. A thoroughly positive performance tonight, very professional from Steve Diamond's men. Once they found their rhythm in difficult conditions, they lay down a marker at the start of the round 11 weekend in the Gallagher Premiership. Gloucester next Friday, the next opponent for Steve Diamond's side. A trip to Kingsholm for his men awaits. My thanks to Josh Beaumont for his excellent summaries and insights alongside me. Hope to see you again, Josh, later in the campaign. We're next in action here at the AJ Bell for London Irish in a fortnight's time. But let's go pitch side now to join Colin McKevitt to get some post-match reaction. Colin.
Go wide, just go wide.
Okay, that's great. Thanks. 36-3, great result. Very happy with that. I am. Jono, you happy with that?
Yeah, very happy. I think after last weekend we were a bit disappointed and we sort of asked for a reaction. And the conditions were tough again tonight, but I think, you know, that's what rugby's about, is learning from mistakes, learning how to handle conditions better, and I think we did it better tonight.
Well, this is it. Last week, it must have been tough last week, coming back up from down there. What's the motivation in the week for kind of knowing that you can do this kind of game here at home?
Yeah, I think always knowing coming back home to a good crowd, you know, we feel comfortable at home and we enjoy it. We're trying to improve on the road, but we know coming back home, this is a place we want to make a fortress, and you know, credit to the lads tonight, they put in a big shift, and it was, you know, more so than the 36 points, to keep them to 0 or to 3 was important.
And a bonus point for us as well, mate. 5 points is a good result for us, really. We want to rack those up, don't we?
Yeah, of course, especially in first half scoring 3 tries. On that point, I'm really happy for Marlon. You know, he's come back from a serious injury and to come and score a hat-trick on a wet night like tonight, you know, I'm really happy for the guy.
Some of those tries were fantastic, you know, all those tries were fantastic. Those kind of games that we're going to play, it must be great hearing those crowds going around you, especially for Marlon. Everyone's going nuts on that third try. It must be great.
Yeah, I think, you know what, the crowd is fantastic. We really, as I said, we enjoy being here. Win, lose, this place is real supportive, and I know the boys really appreciate it. And as I said, fair play to Marlon.
If you can say anything to those at home who didn't quite make it down today, why do they need to come?
Just come and support us. I think we're playing exciting rugby, and hopefully we can push on in the end. And we need those little bit extra to keep pushing us forward.
Listen, mate, thank you so much for taking the time. Appreciate it. We'll see you again soon. Okay, that's it. As always, 36-3. That's a great result for us. We're very happy about that, as always. The guys are really happy. That's not hard work, pays off. But we need you down here at the AJ Bell Stadium for all these home games. They're really important. It's what the lads said, it's having that encouragement around them all the time, and that's what makes the difference. We're back in 2 weeks, not next Friday, Friday after, the Friday after that, and the Friday after that. Check the website. Make sure that you've got your ticket for the next Sale Sharks Live at the AJ Bell Stadium. See you soon.